Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dreams of Silver and Stone, brought to you here by this wonderful, fabulous, fantastic crew. What's that?
Nightmares.
Nightmares?
Of Silver.
Nightmares?
Okay, yeah.
No more
When
dreams.
this happens, the name of the show is Nightmares of Silver.
Yeah.
The Nightmares of Silver and Stone. Here we go.
The dreams are
Sleep
dead.
paralysis demons of
So-
Stone.
Night terror.
So, hello, everyone, and welcome back to this show. It's been a while now. It's been a few weeks. Had some time, had some situations occur where shows didn't happen, unfortunately. But all of these fabulous and wonderful individuals, we're going to go around the table tonight. And we're going to say, hey, what have you, yourselves, been up to? Anything interesting? Anything fun? Anything you're looking forward to? I'm sure that our lovely and amazing audience would like to know a little bit more about each and every one of you because, you know, you're awesome people. And all of you start linking faces. So we're going to start at random.
You can tell that you are just trying really hard to butter us up before you murder us all.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
you're
being
really
what it is or what it may be doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
Here,
gee,
so-
you're all so great. And if your characters died, that's okay because you're just all, you're really great.
You're a wonderful
know,
crew of
you're
amazing
so
people. Oh, gee,
creative.
Rick, you're all so wonderful. So we'll move right along to Kiara. Anna, why don't you go first? What have you been up to?
I'm busy trying to do social media for our channel, Ty.
You can wait.
I'm busy.
You can do that after you're done with this.
busy.
Yes, you have four other people after you. You can freeze frame and pick it back up.
Hi, I'm Anna. I play Kiara. I don't do anything besides work.
You don't have anything that you did that was fun?
No.
Not
I
even
literally
Thursday
just
last
work.
week?
There was
She did not enjoy
Wow.
playing Misguided Souls,
Why?
apparently.
We are
Oh,
scared. This is our scared response, Ty, okay? We're not going to be normal right now. This is
Okay,
trauma. Look at
fine.
Anna.
So we'll addendum in an effort to delay the inevitable. We'll addendum.
Why? Why are we delaying this?
If you
I
had-
set a 40-minute timer saying we'll all die by 40 minutes.
And that's exactly why I'm
When
doing
we
this.
start-
If you had one wish, what would it be? Would you take it, or would you let it slip?
What?
What?
Sorry, that's an 8 Mile reference. Anyway, if you had a
See, all I had stuck in my head was like Merida. If you had a chance to change your fate, would you?
Yeah,
that
if
was
you're-
all that was stuck in my head.
if
I'm
Kiara had a wish, one wish that she could trigger now, what would it be?
Get us the hell out of Dodge.
So you're gonna waste the entire wish on just teleporting away from the scene you're currently in? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, fully. I would rather not die right this moment. We can delay. If we can just delay death for a little bit, we could come up with a plan. As
Just
opposed to-
delaying death as opposed to not having any real plans. Okay.
Well, here's the thing: is if I wish for a plan, it's gonna be like a know who, like spur of the moment plan, because I know how these wishes work, you genie. So like, I'm wording this in the way that I know isn't gonna fuck us over. Thank you very much.
All right, fine. Moving right along. Rob, what have you been up to in the last couple of weeks?
Oh, well, I have been taking care of, doing human things, but also getting super excited for another like clockwork one shot.
Oh, yeah.
That we'll talk about at the end of the session here. But I'm very excited for that. Excited for my first ever death in this game, and excited to see where it all goes.
That was not your first ever death in this game.
Oh,
Technically,
no,
you
yeah,
were dead for
yeah.
a very small period of time.
No. Also, Last Alarm.
And in
fully
Last
died.
Alarm, fully dead
Big
in
ol'
Last
full
Alarm. That
dead.
was a
Yep,
big
that's
scene.
true.
That was a big scene.
Yeah.
On the
nope.
stairwell. Yeah.
Yep.
Sarge.
Yep.
Oh.
And I was also maybe trying to go for the Last Alive because I had an actual bonus for that, but it was not. It wasn't for me, and that's okay.
If you had one wish, what would Clay do with it?
I would honestly, in the heat of the moment, you would probably just wish that all of the townsfolk were just somewhere safe that the townsfolk were just in another safe village,
In
and that's
another
it.
safe
And
village.
then we wouldn't have, because then we wouldn't have to care. They're gone. They're done. It's taken care of, and we did our part, and we can just leave.
Of course. Of course. We'll move right along from there over to Steven. Steven, what have you been up to in the last few weeks?
Well, I've been house hunting. It's been exciting. My aunt and uncle just moved down, and we are going to all go in with them and my grandpa and myself and my partner and get one big house together down in Arizona with the pool and stuff. So it's really
Ooh.
exciting. But the market is hot, so when things list, they sell the same day. So it's been quite a hunt, but it's been exciting. So it's been good.
Well, hopefully the house hunt comes to a satisfying conclusion shortly.
So that I can come over and swim in your pool.
That is precisely correct. Yes.
So,
And
if Kaizen
wish?
had one wish, what would it be?
You already
Kaizen-
got a wish.
had one
I
wish.
mean,
He would wish for the Empire to just fall into his crack. Bye.
just have the Empire
Can
fall
you-
into his crack.
Kaizen fit that much in
Erased
his
from
crack?
time, just gone.
So then at some
Yeah.
random point, I could just summon an army that would just come out of. Oh, I kind of like that idea.
That gets us
See,
in a
you
situation
have to
tonight.
phrase it correctly for the
No,
genie not to use it against you.
I like that. I like that. Just get
Fun.
rid. Just.
Why do today what can be put off till tomorrow?
Right.
That didn't work out for
So
me in college. Just a lot
sudden
of stress.
sudden apparition armies. I will keep those on the back burner. We'll move right along to Nohu. Hey, Strat, what have you been up to for the last couple of weeks?
Hello, everybody. I'm Stratful, playing as Nohu, adventurer extraordinaire. Me personally, besides work on the construction area of the city, I've been delving in Final Fantasy XIV, the online game. You know, with all the rage that is and popularity that is going, I decided to give it a try.
What are your thoughts about Final Fantasy XIV?
Oh, it's very pretty and cinematic. Certainly a different solo experience than many other MMOs.
Yeah, I've heard that. I heard it's more story based than like mechanics and focused on combat and that kind of thing. So that's cool. That's very cool. If Nohu had a wish, what would it be?
That would be that for the next, let's say, hour or two, that he would be incredibly successful in everything he is planning to do. One would even say critically successful in everything he does.
If Nohu had nothing but critical successes for 2 hours straight, what would happen? The universe fears that response. We'll move right along to Shannon. It's a gamer. Hey, you. What have
Hey.
you been up to the last couple of weeks?
You know, we live
I know
together.
we
have
know,
to-
but they don't know.
Oh, working, and then we got an Xbox.
We did.
Which is iffy as far as I'm concerned because I
Series
have
X?
stupid loyalties.
Yeah.
We found one
yeah.
at random in the middle of the night, and I woke
We
Shannon up
did.
at like 3
We had-
a.m.
Money.
Same way I got my PlayStation 5. Got
Right.
it.
Mm.
We had the money, and it was like, which one's going to be available first? So obviously Xbox One, and then because it's a huge first, new generation graphics and everything. I've obviously been playing like a little pixelated side scroller.
All indie games.
Right, all indie game. Well, because they're cute and they have heart,
They're
But I'm
fun.
waiting for Fable, and I'm gonna play Psychonauts tonight when we're done with this. And that's about it. Oh, and then I played Monster Hearts with Anna and and then the Steven over there, and that was actually like super fun. I trust Anna with my life and my heart. So
That's a poor decision, but
I know. This is why I don't play games like this.
We'll
But
have
yeah,
to see what happens.
So juggle carefully, lady.
Annika states that waiting on a PS5, already own a bunch of games on PSN and prefer the controller. And honestly, we're also Sony fans more than Xbox. We got what we could.
We went through 4 or 5
Three.
360s.
We went through 5 360s, yeah.
Two or three Xbox Ones. And all that time, we only owned one of every generation of the PlayStation.
Although, as soon as we got this Xbox, our PlayStation decided to commit suicide.
Like literally.
Like literally the same day.
Oh.
Our
Yeah, the
Pro.
PS4 went. Pfft. Anyway, what is Nova's
That's
wish?
mad.
If you could have any wish right now.
Nova's wish would be for everything to be okay.
Just everything, please be okay.
Yeah. No,
So,
I mean, and that's a broad. You're gonna give her a wish, like peace to the Aether sphere. No more dead conflicts.
no more dead
Peace
dead
on
conflicts.
earth, goodwill towards folk.
So, as a recap, it has been a little bit of time to all of our viewers out there in the audience. Our crew had made their way harrowingly across the swamps of Miocenis inside of a recommissioned war machine or war carriage, basically a tank, APC type thing, that had been stumbling and fumbling and falling down hills and cliffs. They hit it. They came to the village, proceeded to start evacuating villagers out to said device and off into the wilderness in an attempt to protect them from the Empire, who was arriving shortly. The Empire, who had arrived shortly after Nohu had rung the alarm bells and everybody had run outside, came to do a little bit of chatting with a rather sizable force. Once that force had arrived, things seemed to be going okay for a little while, until everything suddenly was very, very not okay. Kaizen had looked into the future, trying to determine what pathways could be led towards some sort of successful take on the circumstances, and one of those was making sure they brought out some of the Vizier that they'd captured. Those two, unfortunately, had escaped over a back wall away from Kiara, quite a
One
ways
of them
away.
doesn't have an Achilles, though, so it's fine.
One of them is injured, yes. The other one, however, is currently pulling and carrying that one over the other side. And then, of course, had also discovered that there was a potential revelation that was going to occur that was going to be a problem in relation to Nova. That originally had been that Nova is a wanted felon, and this operative is very aware on the most wanted list who they are. And when Nova came closer to the individual, then they got a closer look at Nova's face. Commander Steel Sorrow was about to have that revelation that Nova is a wanted pirate. Now we have kids screaming in the background. Sorry about that.
It just sounded
Appropriate
like a
sound effect.
pig.
Yeah, sound effects. Can you? Would you mind Nova going and like murdering children
Oh,
for me?
I froze.
And then she froze.
I thought that was me. I was like, not
No,
That's
their
how
internet paused and
powerful.
exploded. A
Yep.
lot.
That's how
Is it?
powerful.
It's back.
You're back.
No.
Yeah, you're back.
That was a hell of a squeal.
That was crazy.
It's just like, yeah, like a Mortal Kombat spree. She just fucked with everything.
So as long as those monsters that live in our house don't interrupt the stream further, we happen to be in a situation where everything was going okay-ish, and then Nohu tripped, stumbled, and helped reveal Nova as an elf. In that moment, that briefest of moments, the commander was immediately going to jump on that fact, because elves, as we all know, in Aether and Steamworks, are hunted by the law, whether to be arrested or destroyed, one or the other. That's pretty much all there is to it. But Clay decided to jump in and oust himself as someone who is also wanted, and that just made things so much better.
It was noble.
I outed myself as having lied.
Yep. And then they
I didn't
realized
say
that
it
you
was-
were Copperleaf from the train.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they.
Except we called you the wrong name, so you're like, no, that wasn't me. But she
Right,
still
that's not
kinda
what you
knows.
mean.
But it's your face that is on the list there. So,
Yeah, for sure.
being known criminals, two of them at the very least,
Mm,
being
mhm.
aware that the Vizier have been rumored to be in this area, now the commander is no longer able to just ignore or have a shadow of a doubt or give the benefit to any of the words said by these individuals, and has ordered them all arrested, and if they resist, there will be violence. So, as we return to this game, let me go ahead and
You also
get the
forgot
maps back
that
on.
Kaizen has a bomb now.
Kaizen
Oh, no,
did.
no.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not forget. No, the bomb is mid-flight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kaizen
Where
at the
we
end of the
were.
last episode had basically
Had
made a deal
thrown-
with the devil, reaching back to speak with the god of death, who had provided him a boon, gave him one of that bomb that they had taken from the mess, and decided to use that. Of course, now Kaizen is marked and must return the value in trade for whatever is gained in this moment. Of course, Kaizen had
Ooh.
turned back and lobbed the bomb. We'll need to see how far he throws it and where he was standing to begin with. when
Is
we
this
started.
agreement void upon death? I just want to know.
Ooh.
Really, but not to no.
I don't think that
So if
that's
this
true.
goes
That's
really, really poorly, does that mean that like the boon is that like actually Abraxas
Wait.
owes Kaizen?
What? Yeah. What if we all died and he just came and brought us back, and then the Empire thinks we're dead and we're no longer fugitives?
Perfect plan.
you would just be
Flawless
thralls
plan.
to the god of death. No big deal.
He was
Flawless.
pretty chill in our last game. It's okay.
So
okay.
chill, so very chill.
He's kind of friends with Z by like a weird tangent, so like we can just talk to her and go through there.
Because
So-
it's so reasonable.
Now returning to the episode in fashion, we start moving back towards.
Can you tell we're all procrastinating? this?
Jeez.
Is that Isaac?
Oh, look at that!
It's the what's it? The not service
yeah.
bot, service bot.
Yeah, I
It's
used- I
totally
just-
gonna tell the truth.
I just
Uh-huh.
used that model because that's a common
Oh.
model in
Okay,
the
okay.
Empire.
Cool.
Okay. We return to the scene at hand. Kiara, you aren't on the map in this position. You are off the map, about right there, technically. you're a ways off in the stuck put map. I can bring that up for you later if you want to use that to determine how long it's going to take for you to get over the fence. But Kaizen, you had stepped forward just a couple of feet, and you had said that you throw your bomb. Where were you intending to throw that based on where you're at?
So I want to bring in chaos so I can lob it over to the commander in the group.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Um, I also want to attempt something, and I want to convert the bomb using any magical power that I can in order to revert the memory back before Nohu tripped and took everything out, and hopefully put in the thought that everything's chill and these are not the droids you're looking for.
Time bomb.
So
Yeah.
you are looking to revert everything back to that position before the problems happened. You will need to make this big enough to hit multiple individuals, not just that. If
Yes.
she's the only one after ordering that to turn around and be
No,
like,
all
"Oh."
of them. It needs to spread to all of them.
So that is range 32,
Oh my god.
or
what's it
roughly
gonna take?
160 feet in diameter. That
I have
explosive.
concerns.
Yeah, that's gonna hit us too.
That's gonna hit
Well, you want to
everything
hit
in the
commander.
area.
Clay and I are
That's why you'd
literally
be
standing right
dangerous
next
if
to
you
her.
think
No,
it never happened.
It's gonna be fine. This is an anti-dwarf device.
You're a
Let's just
dwarf.
let this.
No,
let's
it is
let
not
this
an
play
anti-dwarf
out.
device. This is the one that happened in the mess. This melts everything but
This is
Skixen.
anti-everything. Yeah. So it's fine. Don't worry. Hey Steven, I trust you. Like player,
All
I
right,
trust you.
We trust
give me, Kaizen,
Maybe don't
give
just
me,
turn it into bubbles, guys.
Kaizen, give me an arrow
I
on
wanna
where
be a
you wish
bubble.
the bomb to land, and we'll see if you can throw it there.
Okay.
So grab
Where's-
with both mouse buttons and drag.
I
On the map.
guess I would like it to go. This is the commander right here, right? So like here.
Commander's right there.
So like here. I want to get right where she's on the edge of it, and hopefully miss party members. But
All right,
here's
so you're
hoping.
hoping to throw it 22 range. Your standard throwing is 6. So to get farther than that, you're going to need to roll a strong for me, and we'll see if you can throw it further. You can throw up to
That's
3
our
times
party's
that
best
distance.
thing.
Yeah.
Woo! Come on, strong.
Oh,
it
5.
starts bad, guys.
That
It
is going
starts
to cut
bad.
that distance in half, putting it right on
Ooh.
top of her. So it would land
That's good. That's okay.
right
Hopefully
there.
this works. Okay,
Perfect.
let's go.
Okay, so you reach back, you lob, and you fill this with what type of Aether? You're only going to really be able to focus heavily on one type. You're working on mind or time?
I'm working on mind.
All right, so you're hoping to, and go ahead and describe in detail exactly what you're attempting
So
to do.
basically, I want to erase the past few moments back to before Nohu fell, and put in the minds of these people that everything's cool, and we're just there's no thieves here, no elves here. Just go away. It's all chill.
Okay.
Does he get any bonus to that? Because like that's his whole shtick, you know? Like
He's
still
one chill dude.
He's
His
still
chillness.
minding them.
He's
Sure,
trying
I'm
to still
totally in.
mind everybody here.
Right.
I'll give you a +1. Sure.
Oh,
Hey.
Just okay.
Big Cherry gave thank you very much for the bits. That is aces for everybody in the party.
Thank you, Cherry.
Okay.
I love you.
Okay. Kaizen, this will be a 3 application chaos
Hey,
effect.
guys. Oh God. Okay.
So
You can just turn everyone into
That's great.
butterflies? That
give me
We're
a
good.
magical roll and get above a natural 15 to have anything positive happen. If you're going to hit everything here, just so you know, you need a 24 or higher.
Come on.
Ty,
Yeah.
can I use chaos to give Kaizen snap decision? Because this is a snap decision.
You're not even aware of what
Oh.
Kaizen is doing.
Okay,
right now.
great. Let's
Much
do
of
I
it.
a
have to say
snap
that.
Decision. It's
This
so
is-
much
So-
a snap decision that he's unaware. I'm sorry.
This is currently
I'm gonna
all on
lawyer
Kaizen.
everyone.
I love-
I'm gonna ace
Kaizen.
this last roll.
Okay.
Okay.
You got a plus one.
There's a
I got
plus
plus
one.
one, so I have
from
2
Mazzetti.
plus ones. Okay. Let's go. Please. What's
That is not above a natural 15. That is chaos.
Last ace, guys.
Wait. What about your
Oh, this is compassion. Wait, I have compassion, and I'm being very compassionate right now, trying not to wipe out all of these Empire soldiers and save the villagers and save my party. That's
100%.
compassionate.
I'll say that is compassion. You did get another ace, by the way, from Azzetadine.
Oh, thank God. Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
Nora.
quick
Okay.
everybody before Beast gets here and fucks us all up?
Here's
Yep.
+2 again.
All right,
Please.
here it goes. Oh, that was so close to a 15.
Darn it.
Unfortunately, that is going to be chaos.
Maybe it's a Nora ace that you
We're
need.
good.
There's an
We're
ace.
good, you guys. Come on, dice gods. I love you. Seriously, dice
That's a
gods.
7.
They
Okay.
do not love you.
Again, you can use your compassion now. So use that
You
and
just
get your
got
final roll.
friend-zoned by the dice gods.
You did get friend zoned by the dice gods. Final roll and
Oh my
2.
God.
Don't roll again, you'll get a nat one.
Okay, so
Help.
We
I'm
are
going to.
Hey, I'm really glad I'm not in this right now.
You know what's the most fun? Area of effect chaos. That's what
Area
I
of a, this is hitting everything
Shoot,
in
kiss my ass goodbye.
150-foot range.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have
Does
to
that
see what it
include
does now.
me?
That includes, yes, that's also washing over the village.
Hope for
So-
something really fun, you guys. Really fun.
So we're gonna like zoom out and see the massive. Okay, cool.
Wait, how many aces did I use?
You used
All of them.
4.
1, 2. Fuck.
1, 2, fuck. That's awesome.
Okay, Kaizen.
Yo.
One.
Kaizen begins glowing brightly with an inner light as he throws this bomb. It becomes it radiates energy in such a way that as you're looking at it, it's hard to comprehend. You can't actually see it like you're looking up at the sky and the sky ceases to exist. Just seeing it floating through the air and flipping end over end is causing you to basically short circuit. It's like you're living in a dream and everything seems to be changing and warping around it.
That was
So-
my life.
The caster becomes saturated in Aether, instantly reaching their limit. Kaizen, you are at max limit now.
Boom.
But the ability used is tripled in effectiveness. As the bomb flips end over end over end, it hits the ground and explodes, flashing into bright light. Everything goes dark for
Did you just Men
everyone.
in Black them? You Men in Black clickered them.
I think he did so on
Oh, just-
everybody,
Everyone was
on
just hit by that.
everything.
Yeah, like the trees don't know
So-
what they are anymore. Like,
Into the time warp.
Let's go.
As a massive bomb of mental energy radiates outward from the center, and the plumes are so large that they fly off into the sky, going through the soil and the ground, radiating over the village. As this thing covers a nearly 1 mile radius,
Whoa.
Jesus.
everyone forgets.
That's okay.
Everyone forgets.
Okay.
I'm now going to roll a d6. 2. Okay. Kiara.
2 years.
Yeah. Do I not remember Aurora being a fuck?
As you are standing there for a moment, you start wondering where you are. What's going on? You feel the rumble of the streets beneath you. You hear the sounds of townsfolk. A blast of steam outside the window catches your eye as you're looking through the glass. You see Avalon, and you hear Aurora's voice nearby. Dear, are you all right?
What?
You turn and see Aurora sitting on the chair next to you, drinking some sort of fine wine and eating some nuts and grapes nearby as you're driving through the city. And she looks at you strangely. You find that you're inside of some rather well-made attire, and looking around at first, you realize you're driving through the thoroughfare in Avalon, and there are nobility, and there's townsfolk, there's workers and servants going back and forth, and your driver there is just looks over his shoulder for a second at you, and then just like looks back to the street.
Are my ears out and about?
As you reach up and you look into the reflection of the window, your face staring back at you is different.
What?
Your
Kaizen, what
ears
did you do?
have rounded edges, and your eyes have been widened slightly, and your regular features have become slightly rounder than usual.
Did you pop us into an alternate timeline?
I think you
God,
did.
I hope so.
I'ma just kind of shake my head and assume it was all a bad dream and just go sit next to Aurora and pretend nothing is wrong and nothing is weird and everything's normal.
As the two of you sit there writing, she turns back and goes, "Oh, that's better. I just was worried about you for a second. You looked like you'd seen a ghost. I have to make some affairs at state this afternoon, but later this evening, if you'd like, we can catch that clicky that you wanted to see. Maybe have ourselves a nice snack, dessert."
Just like a nod. Like there's no speaking happening because it's a lot of just flabbergasted confusion. I don't remember getting here. I don't remember what happened leading up to this. I may have dissociated and then got into the car. We don't know where we are.
All right, Kiara sits there in a little bit of stunned astonishment for a moment as Aurora looks a little strangely at her, and they continue driving. We go to the next group of individuals. Clay, you remember something. You were forgetting something important. You can't remember what it is. And then, you needed to get the milk byproduct that had been shipped in because Nova was making
right.
cookies for you and Brownie this evening.
Right. Okay. Well, that's right. The powder stuff. Okay. I will kind of turn back right around as I was about to leave and head back to the shop.
As you step outside of the shop, you see Melody's daughter there. Clay, Mr. Clay, did you forget something? You here? It was on the table. You bought it, but you walked off without grabbing it.
Sometimes I don't know how I keep my head on straight. Thank you so much. And also, I just wanted to say, I really appreciate you all taking us in. I know it's hard to even think about all the things that went on before, but Brownie and I have Nova found some peace here. I feel like, and something we've been missing.
Of course. By the way, when Brownie is done with her chores later, could she come and we want to go down to the orchard?
Oh, I don't know. Let me think about it. What would you be doing in the orchard? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we would be picking some swamp melons, and maybe we could bring them back, and my mom will make a pie. There won't be any boys there, I swear.
All right, there you go. That we're good to go then. Big old smile. I'm like,
you see Kara, Melody's daughter, just kind of beaming ear to ear as she's staring at you, and then you go and start heading back towards the house. Nova, we turn to you. You're inside. You've been cleaning up the house for a while. You're wondering why you're doing this. As you sweep a broom on the floor a couple of times, you hear Brownie's voice off in the distance. You turn, you see her slightly taller and a lot cleaner than the last time you saw her. Hi, Nova. Do you have ideas what we're gonna have for dinner tonight? Because I was really kind of partial to those steaks you made the other day, and Clay was saying that maybe you would be willing to make some if I just went pretty please.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. And she comes over and she's like, "Oh, do you need the dustpan?"
Yes.
I got it for you. She moves over to the side and grabs a hold of it, comes back. You're inside of what used to be, you think, as you look around. Could it be Patchy's place? It looks like the right shape, the right size. There's some chemical burns on the walls and things like
I
that,
was
but in
just gonna
general,
ask if there was like a dwarf shaped burn in the corner.
you assume that's been cleaned out, but there's some new wallpaper that seems to have been spackled on. The floors have been cleaned up quite a bit and replaced with some hardwood and some hard mushroom, whatever it is that they use on Mayo. For
Hard
the
shroom?
interior, hard shroom. And as you see Clay walk in through the door and put his coat over on the hanger, you recognize that the two of you have lived here for a while now, taking care of this child.
So I heard someone's gonna go get some melon for a pie.
I have a dustpan.
And Brownie off to the side goes, yeah, this evening we wanted to go down to the orchard. I mean, with the soldiers that are there now, we don't have to worry about the big bugs or anything like that. And
Of course.
I swear this time we won't get in any trouble. Not this time.
Well, remember, not getting into trouble is important, but the way you don't get in trouble, don't get caught. All right?
Of course. Yeah, I learned from the best. And she
Of
pats
course.
you on the side. Oh, thank you
Yeah.
very much for letting me. And she rushes over and she hugs you.
Oh, hey. Yeah. What? Yeah. Of course.
And then she turns and goes, "Did I do well?" And you see her holding your wallet.
Cheeky, cheeky. All right, I'll be having that back now, though.
Okay, here we go. Can I keep
But
one
with
of this?
all the coin,
Just the one? Just the one?
the coins should be back in here as well.
Fine. You see her like
All right, thank
drop a
you,
couple of
thank
silver
you.
coins back in the wallet.
All right. Well, you go run along. I'm sure you got to get ready. You need to get all the right boots and such on. So
Yeah, of course. And she just rushes off, heading upstairs a little ways into the second floor of the old service tower that has now been turned into a bedroom. Nova, you find yourself standing before Clay now.
are you all right?
No.
What's wrong? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or?
Um,
One of those days.
you know those days where you just feel like out of place, out of time, and like something is really, really weird.
Do you think are you getting like flashbacks to that time you were in the wobbly place?
I'm getting a little bit of wibbly wobbly flashbacks, but mostly this just feels. Do you feel weird? And what's going on? And did we adopt Brownie?
Well, we were.
Do you know what's going on?
Clay, you're having
Well,
a very hard time remembering.
Well, I was
So
picking
was
up the milk byproduct,
Ooh,
and before that,
there's no cows here. What is that made out of?
It's delivered. It's powdered milk from off-world.
well, I had the vague sense that I live here.
Okay, so I know that this is probably I'm not the most worldly person, but generally when you live somewhere, you don't just like wake up with a general sense of that fact. Like it's just kind of like a thing that you know, right? Like right now, I am also getting a general sense that we live here, but I think a little bit more than that, you know?
My brain's having a weird thing where it's filling in gaps, but not the ones I need.
Yeah. What was the last thing you really remember?
Picking up milk
Literally,
byproduct.
that's it?
Give me a
What's the last
brains
thing I
roll,
remember?
Clay.
Okay.
Nova, same for you. Give me a brains roll. As you both sit there and try to think about this for a second. Dama-san gives me a +1.
Yeah,
19.
Clay, the last thing you can remember is literally you
picking
take
up
it,
the milk.
pick up the milk from the yeah, that's it.
yeah. I told the truth.
Nova,
Yeah.
you have a hazy recollection that Stuckfoot is in danger. You don't remember why.
With a 19, that is all I get.
Yes.
Triple chaos, baby.
I feel like we're in danger.
That doesn't.
As you're standing there looking around, Nova, you see the calendar nearby. You see the
Oh,
date.
now there's a calendar.
You got a plus
You
one,
set
Nova.
one up. You get a plus 1, Nova.
See, I got a 20.
So you're staring over and you see the calendar nearby,
Thank you.
and something about it triggers you emotionally a little bit, and you recognize it as 6 years after the date that you disappeared. The last time you remember seeing that aboard the Clockwork Zephyr.
That doesn't help with the present situation.
Nope.
Oh my god, it's been 6 years since I was on the Zephyr. My mom might still be alive, although I really don't know if that's I'm gonna go lay down.
Nova turns and walks down the hallway.
You finally
remember,
know the date.
I finally know the date.
You recognize
Yay.
the
Thanks,
room
honey.
that is kind of a basement. I think it was previously used to house experiments. You have since cleaned up. You know that there's your room down there. You see a bunch of things that are tangentially items that you might like, although they all seem to be without heart.
Everything feels weird. She's like literally gonna just like kind of curl up and like take a nappy nap.
All right.
Close her eyes. Like I feel like it's the like existential room spinning. You know?
Yep.
Brain reset.
Yeah. Like I just can't. I'm gonna
All
lay
right.
down.
So we move from there at the moment to Nohu and Kaizen. Nohu,
Got
you
another
are-
+1 tie.
thank you there very much, Dama-san. I will be using that on my next roll. Nohu, this is the largest MILF you've ever been in. You and Kaizen have come here on a whim. Kaizen, the adventurer known as Nohu, and you yourself have been out here in the wilderness for... I mean, this is always what you've been... You find... Oh, okay, this is a little hard. As you're standing there for a moment, Nohu knows that you're in danger as you see a rather rotund giant bombardier beetle rolling towards each one of you. Nohu's kind of jumping to the side. Nohu, you've always done this. This is just what you've always done. So to you, it's the same day every day.
Just another day. All right, rookie, show them what you got.
What have you gotten me into?
Adventure.
I knew I should have never followed you. I'm having fun though, I think. Smash the bug.
You're sliding down a little muddy bank that's heading into this creature's den. Nohu, you were aware that in this region somewhere, somebody had lost a rather substantial supply cache in the ground. It had fallen, opened up, and eaten them, basically. You now realize it was because of these giant beetles boring holes inside of the ground underneath the roads, and that it collapsed down inside of. So it's down there somewhere, but these things are in the way. Kaizen, you slash out with your sword. Give me an attack.
Also, Kaizen got an overload reduce.
You did.
Ooh, that's
That's
right,
not a big
because he's
deal.
all pulsy right now.
All right. With a 14, as you slash in, your sword just grazes across this thing's armor. You see sparks kind of flying off.
These things are quite strong, aren't they?
You just need to know how exactly where to hit them, just like this.
What do you do, Nohu?
I'll show him the way to strike with a melee weapon, in this case, my claws.
All right, go ahead and give me an attack. That's an 8. The opponent also, you screech down with your claws. They scrape across this thing, and as it's still rolling and picking up speed, we see Nohu suddenly just zoop up onto the top of it as he's like being pulled along by this rolling giant beetle.
I feel like that wasn't very informative.
No, you see, it's taking me deeper into its nest. That's where the mother lode is.
You
That's
see
where this better be worth it.
Nohu disappears over the other side of the beetle, about to be crushed, according to what you see in front of you, Kaizen.
No!
Nohu, as you start heading head first towards the mud, as this thing starts rolling over you, what do you do?
I'll have to make use of my grappling hook in order to latch onto the ceiling and avoid the muddy death.
Give me your grappling hook roll.
It's an agile, right?
Yes. And you have +2 to grappling hook rolls.
Oh, +2. Well, I only did a +1, but that's really low, so I'm going to ace it.
Okay, give us a roll.
better.
Nice, with a 20. Suddenly, Nohu just turns, grappling hooks up onto the ceiling nearby, swings over top of this creature that just zips past, crashing into a wall, mud splattering everywhere.
Get another +1, Ty.
My God, you're resilient.
Lots of +1s. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So, as that creature disappears down a hole nearby, escaping from you, and Nohu is now slammed into another wall, kind of face first in this mud and having to start pulling himself off of it. Kaizen, you get the flickering idea in your mind that something is very off and very wrong. This is what you've done for as long as you know, but for some reason there's something in the back of your mind telling you there's a lot more that you don't remember right now.
Remember, Winnie, remember.
I have a sneaking suspicion that something is not quite right here, my small friend.
You're right. We forgot to slather all of this mud in our faces. That's what mimics are sent from all of these roly-polies. And I'll start like pressing.
Well, I mean, beyond that, I think there's something really quite messed up here that I just can't quite recall. As soon as we get a moment, I really need to take a moment for myself and be able to meditate a bit, but somehow I feel like this nest is going to be a bit of a bother.
There's a rumbling sensation as the ground beneath you begins to give way. Give me an agile roll to avoid falling into the hole.
Somebody or both?
Both of you. Actually, you don't have to know if you don't wish,
wow.
because you've got the grappling hook set up right now.
Well, I don't know. Give me that natural 20 and
All right,
something
well, you got
else
a
then.
natural 20, so do you want to do something that benefits you more or your ally?
I'll go for ally.
Okay. So as he goes and
you.
starts
So much
falling,
squishier.
you see Kaizen like starting to slip in the muck, and the ground starts giving way. So you immediately, being the senior adventurer out here, swoop out and grab a hold of Kaizen's arm, catching it with one of those nice little forearm grasps, and then swinging him back over to the other side, away from the giant hole below.
Thank you. I think you may be the best friend I've ever had.
Oh,
You can remember.
I can remember.
you're still a rookie, but you're my rookie.
Well, I'm trying the best to learn, but it's so hard living in your shadow sometimes. You're just so amazing.
I'm also like 3 feet tall, so I don't know. That sounds pretty easy. Anyway,
You're very little shadow.
Yeah. let's go.
All right.
There's no time for that breather you are looking for. Never in an adventure.
I'm right behind you.
So as the two of them sweep further down the tunnel, we switch back again to Kiara. Kiara, you've arrived
done
at
the thing that I wanted to do. Can I use inconclusive insight? What the fuck is happening?
All right, so we'll get to that as soon as we have your scene start.
Okay.
So you are sitting inside the carriage, and Aurora's sitting off beside you. She pats you on the leg for a second and goes, "Okay, dear, I must be off for business at the moment. Please have the carriage back here." She's speaking to the driver at this point. "Please have the carriage back here in 3 hours. In the meantime, you can certainly go wherever you wish to go about the town, and just be careful with the money, please."
Money. What?
She leans over to kiss you goodbye, and then heads out to go to work, wearing
How
her.
much money did she leave me with? Just curious.
You look inside of your things. You reach down. You find a purse at your side, and there's probably a good 1,000 silver sitting in there.
Whew. Is there a casino nearby?
Wow.
Most
You're terrible,
certainly.
girlfriend.
So, the driver sitting there inside the seat turns back and goes, "All right, Elena, where shall we go now?"
Bless you.
"Madam Elena, where do you wish to go now?"
Does that not spark any concern in my head at all?
Give me a brains roll.
I feel like it should concern. I will not roll. Please roll. Please.
Roll the dice, thing.
Yes.
14. When the individual says that, you immediately have this kind of creeped out response to start with, but you also have the fuzziest inclination that you've been responding to that name for a while now.
I think I'm actually just gonna get out of the carriage. and see what it's like to walk around Avalon without being scared of things. Well, I guess I don't know that it's not me not being scared of things because I've been like this for a while.
You like
I'm gonna
open
walk
the
around Avalon.
open the door to step
There's a
out.
shit ton of money.
The carriage driver, as you
What
start
could go
getting out.
wrong? Am I gonna get
Excuse me,
mugged?
where are you going?
I'm going to go for a walk.
What are you? The mistress will be very upset with me if I just allow you to go on. Let me park at least first. Just a moment, Elena.
Don't love the whole controlling thing that's happening here, but okay, we'll let him park.
You see him like move over to the side and steps out. He rushes over to your door, where as he opens it, he cranks down this little staircase and pops out an umbrella over your head. All right, I have to make a good impression. What would the Varos think? I wouldn't want to anger your family, madam.
I assure you I am okay. I can handle myself.
Oh, I am certain that you
asks
can.
any questions, I will not tell her.
Oh, I am not I mean,
I'm gonna hand him 10 silver and just go, shh, and like slowly back away into a crowd.
as you start like moving away, he starts coming towards you a little more insistent. No. Miss Vero, please don't leave me behind like this. You get the opinion that he's more afraid of Aurora than he should be.
Oh. Can I read more into that? I want to know
All right,
why.
so
why would he
inconclusive
give me Aurora?
insight.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to inconclusively insight the situation surrounding the memory loss, or the individual surrounding Aurora?
Both.
Can't do both. Yeah, one or the other.
Both. Can I use chaos and do both?
You'd be focusing on your own brain. So sure,
Yeah.
give me a magical
Turn my
roll.
brain into butterflies tie. What's gonna happen?
Oh lord.
Give me a magical roll. And
Magical.
there we go. Let's see. Ooh, 12. Okay, I will give you a minute insight
Really mocking.
into both.
Oh.
Ooh, 12. It's not a lot. That's all. It's just not a huge section. So I'll give you a minor insight into
ace
one. All right. Here goes an ace.
That's worse.
That is going to be chaos.
Oh, I had a double chaos?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, then I'll ease that so I don't butterfly my brain.
Higher than a 10.
Does
Nice.
it do
Okay,
better?
16. There is an ace granted to you by the audience, by the way. All right, Kiara, do you wish to have your major insight, your inconclusive insight into Aurora, or the mind loss, or the brain memory loss?
Memory loss primarily, and then a little bit about.
Okay, so first things first is the memory loss detail. Inconclusively, you conclude that there is a huge section of time missing, that for a great deal of time you have been acting in ways that you can't quite remember at the moment, and something happened when you were on Miocenis. You start seeing flitting images of the breakneck escape from the mess, giant myconids in the brain, a huge army, and that's all you get. When it comes to Aurora, something tells you that Aurora is incredibly dangerous. Not just an organization she belongs to, and not just her being a noble and family member, but literally dangerous herself.
Do I have any memory of the whole, Kaizen crack experience where I saw her, her but not her murder me in the streets?
Give me a brains roll.
The Kaizen crack experience. That should be a Riot Disney.
The
Currently-
Kaizen crack- it's an immersive experience only in Chicago.
Currently, no, not with a 15.
Okay. I guess I'll play the part and let this driver walk around with me. I'm just gonna go kind of window shopping because I don't have other things I really necessarily want to do.
So you start.
I guess I'll pick his brain too of like why he's so afraid of Aurora.
All right, so you walk around the streets a little bit, and you start looking into windows. You see passersby recognizing your entourage. Well, not even entourage, I guess. Recognizing your
Single
status.
crony.
They recognize your status. And you see people starting to give you a little bit of a berth. They walk around. Some of them, appraise the things that you're wearing and the wealth that you're just flagrantly showing. In this part of town, it's not a very dangerous section of the city. You can see the sky up above. You see the gigantic mithril spike that was dropped on Avalon so long ago that is now bedecked in various exquisite towers and things like that, as the opulent and wealthy have created their own empire on top of that thing. You see the plates above the major cities below, steam rising up from them in almost these white and golden clouds that just kind of lift above this edge of the city. You've never seen Avalon from this position before, you know that. You do remember some of your youth running along the streets down below, seeing the haze above you at all times, the discrepancies, the grayness, the shadows, and the muck of the undercities down below. Up here, everything is pristine, everything is white, everything is shiny, everything is beautiful. And as you're standing there looking in the windows, you see gowns that would have cost you multiple lifetimes worth of work just appraised, and you see one of them have a sleeve ripped off by a tailor inside who looks at it and thinks it's garbage and yells at somebody nearby before tearing it off the mannequin, moving it back to start working on it once again. You see the other individuals, some of them obviously very wealthy individuals themselves, top hat and cane and all, walking down the street arm in arm with individuals with lots of pandering fanatics nearby, asking them things and giving them things as they just walk the streets. You see automated carriages and vehicles and automatons all walking nearby, collecting trash and cleaning up and taking care of the nobility on the streets. And it all feels very cold to you as you're standing there.
This is going to sound like an odd question. How long have I been here?
Oh, I mean, how old are you? I wouldn't dare hazard a guess like that.
So you're saying I've been here my whole life?
Well, I mean, Miss Farrow, I would assume your nobility status. Have you never realized where you came from? I mean, the Varros have been a noble house here on Avalon for multiple centuries. I'm sure that were you raised on a different world? Is that what you're asking?
I don't think I know this game.
Oh, do you mean how long have you and the madam been an item? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, that would probably clarify something, I think. Maybe I don't know anymore.
Well, it's not my place, but...
You can speak freely. I'm not going to tell her anything.
Well, from the moment that I first started working for the mistress, you have been dating and courting. That would have been almost 6 months ago.
Interesting. And have you always been, like, super afraid of her, just in general, or is that a new thing?
Oh, I mean... I don't want to say anything more.
You can speak freely. I'm not going to tell her, but I understand if you do not want to.
Give me a charming roll to see if you can convince this
Oh, good!
driver.
Oh, I'm real good at those!
They're charming.
Oh, I'm real good at those. Here's an 11.
He just goes, well, the Lion family is very powerful, yes, and I've just heard that the Painted Lion is not someone you want to get on the bad side of. That is all. I have a nice job here. It has lifted me above my commonly status, and I hope not to lose that. That is all.
Can Shannon pause for a second? Shannon wants to pause. Just for a
Just
second.
for a second, okay.
Just for 1 second. Okay, so we're pausing the film. We're all in the living room. We're discussing what the fuck is happening. Alright, kids?
The film.
The film. So, you guys have only been dating for like 6 months, but she's already the Painted Lion.
Yeah.
She wasn't
I'm
the-
surprised I haven't been murdered in the streets already, is really where I'm at.
Right. So I'm just confused, because it's
And
like...
she,
okay.
I think she left, and she's like, I'll be back in 3 hours, so then I leave, and she stabs me, is where I think my
Also-
head is going in my head.
I think she's always been the Painted Lion. I don't think that's
so.
changed.
Because I would have known that, and it wouldn't have concerned me as much when it occurred earlier.
Alright. Play.
But I do remember, so I remember being poor and like young and not being here.
Yes. You remember being Kiara. You remember Miocenis a little. And that's where everything gets fuzzy.
Flash, gotcha. Well, I don't like the way he's talking about himself, especially because now that I have a bunch of money, so I'm just gonna give him the 1,000 silver.
As he looks over at you, you see his face turn like white. I can't. This is.
I'm sure I have plenty more somewhere. I bet you I can pull it out of my ass at any point. Take it.
You're asking me to forge documentation. Miss Elena, I cannot. I don't know anybody that can. You cannot give this to me. He like starts shoving it back into your hand. She's going to require
It's for you.
receipts.
No, she's not.
You.
She doesn't have to know. I spent it on something else.
So you will cover for me. Why are you doing this?
That is a good question. I don't actually know. I'm usually not this nice to people. I think it is a weird just streak of being a kind person. Don't question it at this point, honestly. If you question it, I'm gonna take it back.
Well, thank you. My family thanks you as well. Are you sure you're feeling all right? This is not
No.
like you.
Nope. Not sure I'm feeling alright. I don't actually remember most of today, if not the 6 months I've been with
Oh,
Aurora, so I don't. Honestly, maybe I'm just. This is a. Could you slap me? Actually,
no, I would never.
we could go in like an alley. That sounds really actually worse. I just need to know that I'm like not. Just this is not some strange fever dream in
Well,
some way.
in your purse, if you
Did Clay
look
drug
down.
me again? Is
It-
that how this works?
Clay, who's Clay?
Childhood friend. Never.
Inside of your purse, if you look, there is a small ampule. All you need to do is remove the stopper and wave it underneath your nose.
Oh, I'm smelling salts. Cool.
It'll help with the hysteria.
It's like your whole
I'm
head
hysterical.
starts. Your head starts stinging for just a split second, and it's like your sinuses all clear at once, and then your eyes go wide. Whoo! That stuff was strong.
Was it just drugs?
Whatever it was, it
Drugs.
seems to have awoken you up quite a bit. It's like
Ooh.
being splashed in the face with cold water. And
Cold, druggy water. Got it.
that, give me another brains roll.
Oh, okay. Come on, magic smelling salts. No.
No. With an 11, all I give you is this. You remember an explosion, and you remember seeing Clay behind you, like silhouetted in white light before fading into nothingness.
I'm gonna re-roll.
And
I wanna
we
know
will.
more.
Okay.
I want to know more. Damn it. No, I don't. I want to
Nope.
know less.
You know less. You don't. You
I don't
remember
anything.
with a 4. I will give you that you remember a very loud explosion at some point in the past and can't determine where or why or how. And it makes you kind of turn around on the street, looking around a little bit. Some of the other nobility nearby kind of stare at you oddly, like you've, insulted them in some way. Excuse me, dear. Watch where you're walking.
Ooh, fight Kiara. Gotta put her back. I have to play the part. Can't just punch him. I know that. I know better.
You got an ace for McSherry.
There is an ace from McSherry.
Now, do I use it now and get more information, or do I not?
I think you have to with the new rules.
You're right. You're right. I do have to. With the new rules.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly
Eight.
better, but still worse.
So, all I will say is you remember at this point Clay's face in a blinding white light.
Well. Look who's in chat now. Sorry.
Lurking, just lurking.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to continue to walk down the street and just appreciately apologize. Oh, gross. I have to apologize to nobles. My apologies, and then I'm just going to walk past.
See, because somebody's like, decorum, and they just like turn and walk away from you down the street. As the scene fades out,
Decorous.
we move back to Clay and Nova.
Hold up. So they just say the word decorum?
Yes.
that's nothing, but I love it. Random noble on the street. All right.
Clay, so back to you. You are outside the room. You saw Nova turn like a little bit white as a sheet. Like,
Yeah,
move down.
I'm gonna
Always
go
white.
outside and look for like the first non-brownie person that I can find in the town.
So you turn and you walk into the street. Let's see. I'll see who we run into first.
I like imagining everyone is brownie people.
Yeah.
Give me a number between 1 and 10.
7.
Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You happen to see someone named Clawfoot This is a member of the Watch of Stuckfoot, basically. And as he kind of walks towards you, you see these two very elongated toenails basically sticking out of the ends of his shoes, which he can never quite get to fit. It is a Skixid, so they are rodentine clawed feet. As he kind of hobbles a little bit over, he turns and you like put your arm on his shoulder or whatever, get his attention.
Yeah, and I'll, I can communicate skiing. So kind of, hey, so weird question. Is the town in trouble or anything?
Then in trouble? Why do you ask
anything going on?
There seems to be a rash of difficulty remembering things.
Okay, that helps. Okay, and that so far everyone?
I think that's true.
I don't remember.
I'm having a hard time with the. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I must be tired.
Hey, okay. I'm gonna go find Melody.
Okay. Okay.
So
You wander the streets a little bit and you head back towards Melody's. Wait, Melody's tavern? There's no tavern that says Melody's any longer.
I'm gonna grab another random person.
You see. Let's see.
I'm trying. Well, okay.
Ansel.
I'm looking. Do I see anyone I recognize?
There's a chancer nearby. Goes by Ansel Dirkley. That's the hunter that you had spoken to before. He's kind of walking out there with one of his daughters and looks over. Hey, Clay, nice to see you.
Okay, I vaguely remember you. Do you remember Kiara?
Kiara.
Where she is? Grumpy.
Have him roll brains real quick.
Cloak.
He looks over you and goes, "Oh, that the woman that used to work with Melody back when she had the tavern going."
Yes.
Now that you mention it, where is she? She's been gone a long time. Haven't seen her
How
in
long?
the village.
How long a time? How long a time?
About 6.5 months. Yeah.
Where is she? Sorry.
Do you remember how she left? Did
No.
she just like go?
Oh, it's the strangest thing. When I was thinking about it, last thing I remember is when we woke up in that gulch with that old war machine carriage thing. Broken tires, a whole bunch of us kind of scattered all over the place, and we just made our way back to town.
Right. Wonderful. Well, have a good day.
Oh yeah, you too. Oh, by the way, I heard you needed your sink fixed. I've got a remedy for that. There's a new pump mechanism I could set up in your basement that'll make sure that water flows appropriately.
Well, deployment, it's hard to handle around here. I don't need to tell you that, of course.
Of course, you get all those big clumps that come in. You got to filter all that stuff out, the muck from the swamp. Got to make that water palatable. It's a nightmare. I'm constantly working on it.
I'm used to boiling my water before I gotta drink it anyway, but it's a whole nother ball game.
Boiling clumps.
Previously, it's been a while since we saw Periwinkle.
Right.
I miss her. Her pools were always so clean. This was never necessary back then.
Right, and now we got to chew the water. If you could excuse me. So, through context clues, are there Silver Shield people walking around like guards?
There are a couple of Silver Shield soldiers that are standing near the front gate, just kind of sitting there talking to each other right now.
Terrific. I'm gonna approach one.
You walk up to the nearby soldier. You can see on his badge it says Hemley.
Hey, Hemley, how's it going?
Oh, hey Clay, how you been?
Hey, I've been hanging. Hey, can you do me a favor? Is there any... I've been thinking about maybe getting out a bit. Are there any wanted individuals top of the wanted list?
Top of the wanted list.
Right.
Other than Vincier agents,
Of course.
That's pretty much our primary problem on board the world here. There's that that elf. What's his name? Carver?
Okay, sure. Any other elves, or is it just the one?
Those are the only ones that I'm aware of. I'm surprised. Usually you come around every afternoon or so and ask about how your son's doing.
Sorry, excuse me.
Your son, Chase. I mean...
I will fucking grab him by the lapels and pull him. Where is he?
Whoa,
Tell me everything.
whoa,
You know about his son. Where's Chase? What's he been doing? Is he safe?
We
Is he
just
unharmed?
talked about
What's going on?
You are acting out of line here, sir. And you see him like starting to push your arms back a little.
Like I'm like shaking him.
The other
Like,
soldier
man.
nearby just like looks over at you, and then he just calm down. We don't want to have to. We don't want to have to
Where's
take
my
you.
son?
He looks at you. He goes, Chase has been. He's garrisoned up north. You already knew that.
We're up north.
What's the name?
How
of the town?
long?
Now I have to remember the town in my own world. Hold on.
Ah! Did this to yourself.
I did. I absolutely did this to myself. He's up in Doggetville. He's been doing pretty well. I've been keeping you up to date. I can't believe that. I mean, are you okay?
I feel like I know where that is at all.
Well, roll brains. You're currently a
Great.
bit scattered.
Yeah,
so.
I doubt it, but
Oh,
Cool.
nope. You can't remember where Doggetville is off the top of your head.
do you have a map? I need a map. How do I get to
Yeah,
Doggetville?
Lord, it's just north of Fort Mesa. A couple days.
Okay, I'm gonna just start running.
As you turn to start running away, he's like, "You're just gonna leave the
I'm just
Hey,
going.
something's wrong with him." You see the other soldier nearby go, "Something in the water. Maybe we should." You see them both look at their canteens for a second before the scene fades as it goes over to Nova. Nova, you're laying in your room. You've been resting, kind of laying about there for a bit. And you hear like a noise from the side of the room.
The fuck?
Oh,
What is?
there you are. I've been searching everywhere for you. Your mother's pissed at me.
Who are you? Who is this?
You turn to see the face of someone. Roll brains to see if you recognize them.
Um,
6. With a 6, you don't recognize it incredibly well.
Why is my voice?
Voice changing. Oh God, no! Stop it! Oh,
Can
here
I
we are.
roll an ace?
Back to what?
An ace.
Go for it. You can use an ace. That's fine.
Okay, well, slightly better. 8.
8. The face is familiar. You're not entirely certain why. As you look over at, you see this older man, glasses like floating a bit. His face doesn't seem to want to stay in one position, and the edges of him are constantly flickering back and forth.
Shannon knows who that is. My mom?
Oh yes. Her name. I'm sorry. I'm starting to slip just a little bit. Oh, just still.
It's the mood.
Your mother, Alice McCree. Yes, that's it.
Yeah. My mom wants something?
She's
Who are
wondering where you. Oh, dearie me! You seem to have lost your memory. Like pats you on the head.
Well,
Oh
okay.
yes, manners. I am Avram Dane. Nice to starting to drift again. I am part of the continuum. I am very powerful, as people tell me, time and space mage, but I seem to have misplaced you in the past at one point, or the present or the future, all at the same time, and forgot about you. I'm very sorry about that.
I have a fuzzy recollection of what you're saying, but could you tell me right now? Not so. I've had time. I'll make this quick. Is something going on right now that is weird with time?
Right now, time is
'Cause
fluctuating
I'm
at
not
all
where I'm
moments, and
supposed to be.
you are. No, there's no time dilation occurring here right now.
Okay, well that's good. That's comforting.
Are you going to come back with And in
Where?
mid-sentence, he just disappears.
I'm gonna go, and I'm still currently at present where I was moment.
Yes, you're inside of your room,
To go.
inside of Patchy's old house.
I'm gonna run up and try to find Clay.
All right, give me a brains roll as you go running up the staircase.
Good one.
Three's not gonna do it.
I'm gonna do one more. I don't even know what I'm
ace.
rolling for.
There we
But
are.
I got a 19.
So you've got a 19 and a 20 from prior rolls. Nova, you start as you take one step forward and another step forward. Your brain starts picking up pieces of things very rapidly in a succession that shouldn't happen. You remember standing on a field with a bunch of dazed soldiers that all start wandering about in aimless directions. You see them not sure what is happening or what is going on, and everybody seems confused. As you turn and walk away, you see an elf of dark skin just walk into the woods with a small kobold. You see someone in a hood walking up the streets just at random, just into the distance. And you see the individual you know as Clay now walks alongside and puts his hand on your shoulder, and the two of you walk into the village you see nearby to check it out. After arriving in there, after some time, villagers start pouring in. You start remembering fragments of who you are and who you were. You remember your name is Nova. Clay remembers his name is Clay. Not before you do, but it takes a while to convince him. And eventually, you start living here, realizing that there's something that you're missing, something that you should be doing. Curious where any of these buildings came from, why any of the city was what it was. You start to work on it, start to build it back up, and eventually find that there are two houses that are completely empty. One of these is large enough that you and Clay and this little girl Brownie can occupy, and the two of you live together as roommates, trying to work through raising a very young, very exuberant youth. As you are there, you kind of fall into patterns. You start to accept what life you have, as the remnants of the past don't seem to want to catch up with you until they do now. You have lost your memory and almost all of your memories for the last 6 months or so, and they are just now starting to filter back in. Patchy is nowhere to be seen as you're standing here, and you don't remember him in any of these new memories either. He's been gone a long time.
I'm gonna puke.
Nova turns over and vomits on the floor.
I'll take care of that later. I mean, what else do you need to do? That's a lot. I'm still gonna go find Clay then, and try to find Kaizen and Kiara and Nohu and Patchy. But I know where Clay is, generally speaking.
All right, so you make your way out the door, and you hear Clay shouting at a soldier nearby something about his son, and then he goes and runs out of the village down the muddy street.
Oh no. Clay! I'm gonna run after him.
Nova goes and sprints after Clay. You are quite a bit faster than he is, so very shortly you catch up to him outside the city. His boot stuck in the mud, like started doing that whole thing where it slurps off your foot. So he's like sitting there trying to get
honestly starts taking off the boot to start running without a boot on. Like he's that like level of tunnel vision.
Clay, what are you doing?
What? No, son, I know where my son is. I gotta go see him.
Okay. Yeah, so we could do that. She's gonna like unsuck his boot for him, and then we'll run together. So while he's running, Nova's just gonna kind of like speed walk, you know.
Yeah. It's where like your friend has a really much slower like gait than you.
Yeah,
and
so you just kind of trot along. Yeah, absolutely. Being polite, not making it too obvious that they suck at running and you're awesome. But yeah, try to explain all of the things that have just happened. That I am now aware of. So I'm going to download unto you the fucked up shenaniganry that we are in. Currently, Kaizen and Nohu off and then we've been raising Brownie, but then there was stuff, and Patchy is MIA, and Kiara is totally gone.
Okay.
So cool that your son is cool. But I don't know how to I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know.
Nova.exe has stopped functioning. Clay, give me a brains roll real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Whoa. Oh, we in
That is a
double
12.
digits this time.
With a 12, some of that starts to filter in, and as you're standing there and Nova's like describing what has been happening to you, you recognize there are pieces of your memory that are missing, and what she says starts to make sense. You don't quite get those back, but as you're standing there, kind of away from the city, covered in muck, filling up on your boots and everything, you hear a shout in the distance. You hear just like, Clay, Dad, what are you doing?
Follow.
You
What?
turn and look, and you
Oh.
see Browning like waving at you from the distance. She just called you Dad.
I'm gonna go back to Brownie.
Clay stops and turns and starts walking back towards town. The two soldiers standing nearby are like, everybody's lost their
I
goddamn
do this to them.
marbles." You're like watching them.
Hey, what's up?
You were just... I saw you freak out when you heard about Chase again. You're not gonna leave me like last time, are you?
I have to. I didn't think I'd ever get to see him again.
What are you talking about? You just visited him last week.
I don't remember.
Brownie, come here.
You
Just,
see her like walk over and get scooped up by Nova.
hug.
She hugs you back. It's like, if you have to go see Chase, you can do that. I mean, Nova and I have been fine before, but you just got back. I haven't even got a chance to... We're gonna have a picnic tomorrow.
I don't. Okay. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
No. I know, for you, I just saw him, but for me, I didn't even know for a fact he was still alive, and I haven't seen him
Doesn't make any sense.
since his mother died.
Brownie, have you had anything like weird going on with your memory, or remembering things, or things kind of fuzzy or anything like that? Just asking.
I mean, I do pretty well in my studies. I mean, Miss
Well,
Melody
that's
said
'cause you're
that,
smart.
but no, I don't think so. I mean, like what?
Well, Clay and I, and well, no, I wasn't privy to that
Most of
conversation.
the
Clay and
town
I,
seems like
most of the town, there's just some weird memory things going on. Maybe it's swamp gas or something like
it
that.
was
But
probably related to that bright light everybody saw. We were driving out of town in the carriage in the tank thing, and I guess Nohu gave us bad instructions, and we crashed into a ravine. There was a lot of people there that got bumps on the head, and I hear sometimes that causes like memory problems. So I thought that was it. But then we saw this giant flash of light that just waved over everything and made the trees sad. Have you ever seen that before? Well, the mushrooms like droopy. It was weird. But when we came back to town, everybody was just... It's like we've been through a lot of stuff, and I know, trauma. I know that word too. But I know that trauma causes some people to act weird, and that's what you told me, Clay, was that people have just been through a hard time, and maybe we just needed to rebuild from the loss of something.
smart words. But I think that's it. We're just having a little bit of a backlash from that. So don't mind Clay right now. You could understand. You know how much he loves his son, and if not knowing that he's seen him for a long time. So you're better now, though, Clay. Right? You had a deep breath. It's not gonna scare Brownie anymore.
Right.
You're fine.
I'm just again the memory flash. I just
You were gonna literally try to run to Doggerville, were you? I mean, it's like 2 weeks away by carriage.
I was.
See, he was having a day. Obviously, he tried to run.
That would be that's really funny.
It's
I mean, even
ridiculous.
if we still had, old Halper, that would have taken you some time.
We had a hover, didn't we?
Oh
There
yeah,
was something.
yeah. I mean, we stole it from Skeeter's End, but he's still out there somewhere, I'm sure.
Sure. Okay.
Do you know what happened to Kiara, Brownie? Can you remind us? We're having a hard time.
Well, she wasn't here when I got back.
What about the
Kaizen?
the red
Nope.
that one.
Um,
I
The Crimson Adventurers, I think they're calling themselves now. They've been out
Dear
in the
Lord.
jungles just kind of finding tombs and finding old wreckages and collecting things and selling them for benefit.
I mean, sounds like they're living a good life. I
Yeah.
kind of love that for them, actually.
Well, I haven't heard from them in a long time. Know who used to come through here all the time to resupply after his MILFs, and I wouldn't. I mean, I haven't seen
Watch
him
your
in a bit
mouth.
of time.
Alright.
Oh well,
Never
As
mind.
long as he didn't give us any STDs, that's fine.
well, he usually brought in an STD every time he came too, because that's part of the procedure.
Right, but we never ate it, of course.
Oh, of course. So when it comes to Nohu and Kaizen, I don't know where they are. The last time anybody said anything, I think they were trying to find a bunch of lost gems.
Sure, that sounds like a Nohu and now apparently Kaizen thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So where's
So
Melody?
I
Pop quiz.
Melody isn't here anymore.
Where'd she go?
She got arrested by the Empire.
Oh.
They said that she was involved with Vincier agents or something, and she went with them. Her daughter is my best friend now.
Of course.
Who's her daughter?
Well, just points out to the girl standing over near the stalls that Clay goes and operates with all the time, called Shaki. She's got like a big white stripe that just sticks off of one ear.
Where's
Was she here before?
No.
And where's our friend from the pond with the plants and the
Well, the Aqua Lady.
Someone just said it. Yes.
Periwinkle, I heard that she never came back. She didn't come with us when we were all riding on the vehicle, and she wasn't here when we got back to town, and her garden just disappeared.
Patchy get arrested too?
Patchy? I haven't seen him since the accident.
Actually, if I remember correctly, I didn't see him before. I can't remember. Wait, does that make sense?
So, okay. Brownie.
Thank
you, Brownie. So, okay. I have just one idea about why you don't have. So, because we already know you're smart and wonderful, but you're also, because you're a Chancellor, you're very lucky. So I think you may have just dodged what Nova and I are going through right now. Okay.
Oh, lucky me then that I'm here to help you remember things, silly.
Lucky all of us.
She taps the side of your cheek.
Yes. So, I think we just need some. We're gonna talk some adult stuff about processing all of this. I'm not gonna leave. We'll have our picnic. Sorry.
And maybe I'll make some of that steak that you really like, huh?
I love that. You make it out of those giant frogs.
Right. And you know what? You can even help remind me and help me in the kitchen and show how much you were paying attention the last time.
Oh, I get to cook too? Last time I almost burned down the house and you were mad for a minute.
Well, this time is less likely. That's how we learn.
Forget about it. It's in the past.
I'll do that,
Already did.
and I can still.
Because I can't remember.
I'm very excited for that. I gotta get ready though. We're gonna go down to the orchard in about half an hour. That's still okay, right? Even after you have this whole weird memory revelation thing.
With whom? What? Who?
With
Me?
Shock
The
and
government. Yeah.
Shock
There's apparently
all-
guards. It's so
Shock
and
and
the guards. Okay.
No.
I don't know. There's different people. I don't remember Shock before. All right,
don't know.
Brandy, you smart, adorable little boop. Boop you on the nose. Boop you again. All right, you go run off.
As she runs over to the side, you see a young Skixon kind of stepping towards you, broader of shoulders, happens to be wearing a bow tie. Hi there, Mr. Clay and Miss Nova. Nice to see you. I'm going this way now. When you see him like turn to start walking away, and you see Bo in his adolescence.
Aw.
Right. Okay, so good news. Most of the people we want to find are probably still on this planet. Very, very bad news for me. I don't think Kiara is.
That's what it seems like, which is probably bad for her because if
Way
she's with one
worse
person-
news. She's probably in a place that I couldn't even get an entry pass in visual range to get towards, and it's in the middle of the nobility of Avalon.
I can.
But it's also on Avalon,
Uh-huh.
and not on here.
Do you know who Alice McCree is?
Never heard of her. What is
Are you
this?
sure?
Roll brains for me, Clay.
I mean, my memory got scrambled, and I'm from
Just roll.
real.
Nope.
Did she?
Okay.
Is that one of those whiskeys? Is that think there's like a
Funny
whiskey?
enough, yes, but not just because of the whiskey. My mother is Archon of the Arcane University, and until just recently, I kind of thought I'd spent 100 years in a time loop, but it turns out it was only like 6 years since the last time I was on a pirate ship on the Zephyr that it got blown up, and then I blew up into that thing, and then he came into my bedroom earlier today and told me that he lost me, and I bet that's what it is. Anyway, we might be able to get Kiara, but I don't know how we can get a ship, and actually I have no idea what's really going on, and I got really excited for a second, but now that I'm talking, I'm still feeling very hopeless. Do you have a plan?
Is that making you rich?
Well, I mean, my parents are.
Oh,
My mom. Actually, I don't know my parents. I'm adopted. She's Humie.
parent is
I'm not.
it's parent. Okay.
So do we so should we find Kaizen and know
They
who,
feel like they'd be the easiest to find so far.
and then maybe Patchy, and then go and try to find Kiara, or figure out how the hell she got off of here, because didn't she have a fight with her girlfriend thingy?
I don't remember her. Down.
Oh yeah, no,
Nova,
they were
give
all,
me a brains roll once more.
Yeah.
She snapped at me when I said something.
Gee,
too.
I
don't remember
wonder.
that.
How's the brains roll gonna do? Oh, I
Oh.
don't. No, that she.
Balls.
I understand that you must think Kiara's not it was kind of prickly, but no, she and Aurora would never fight. Huh.
Oh, no.
Okay.
They
I
were
bet you.
like, and then it was like, and I couldn't see what was going on, but I heard, and then like Kiara looked all like really out of like character emotional, like she has them emotions that aren't
So
anger.
now you're trying to tell me that Kiara got in a fight with the love of her life and then
Mhm.
got openly emotional in public. I
Yes.
just listen with all the memory things that's going on. That is the least believable thing I've heard today.
I mean, I
As-
guess that's true.
As the
I
two of you are having this discussion, the scene fades to black temporarily. We switch over to Nohu and Kaizen. The two of you have swung and grappled and fallen and slid. You find yourselves again being chased by a giant roly-poly bombardier beetle as it's coming down a tunnel behind the two of you. Nohu, little legs pumping as fast as he can, little bits of mud and dirt and debris kicking back up into Kaizen's face.
Are we
having to spit
having
it
an
out.
Indiana Jones moment with like the
Yeah,
big ball
exactly. As
rated
they are
last
running
second?
away from that through
The
these
Adventures of the
caves below.
Wizard.
You see up ahead, Kaizen. What do you say to Nohu as you're in this pickle at the moment?
I can't believe this has been your daily life for years and you're still kicking!
Yes, you see, some people don't really appreciate the classics. They think that escaping from explosions or running away from rolling boulders is like, out of style. But really, it never goes out of style.
I've seen a lot of things in my life, and right now I do feel alive.
Just wait until we are like trapped and wrapped in like some sort of spider silk and dangling in front of either a lava pit or some giant monster's mouth. That's great.
Up
Bring it
ahead,
on!
as you're sliding down this muck, suddenly having to balance, give me an agile whereas both of you start sliding.
Are the Crimson Adventurers sponsored by Monster?
Maybe, right on their shirts.
Yes.
All right, Kaizen 19, you are balanced. No, 15, you are also balanced. You kind of start just sliding down, almost like you're skateboarding or surfing across this mud as it's splattering up around your legs. Nohu having to use your tail to kind of balance and drift and turn. Kaizen having to just kind of balance and wobble because it's a little harder for him. And you see up ahead a sheer drop off down below where a hole about 15 to 20 feet across has been dug straight down. You are both sliding towards this massive bug that is rolling after you, still churning up the mud. And on the far side of it, you see something. I can't tell what it is yet.
Well,
What next,
obviously,
boss?
we have to go and jump over to the something.
All right, so how do you attempt to jump this? There is the mud edge, and then it just goes straight down. You're currently sliding very rapidly towards it. You're going to try the long jump. You're going to try swinging, grappling, and do something else. Nohu, what do? You're up front.
Oh, I know. Rookie, let's do the fastball special. Throw me, and I'll throw back my grappling hook, and you grab onto it.
Alley-oop.
Give me a strong roll, Kaizen, as you attempt to grab Nohu while sliding in the mud and then throwing him without very much purchase.
With no hesitation.
With no hesitation. Kaizen, what does it look like as you fail this in some way? Are you going to have your legs go out from under you, or are you going to have a hard time lifting Nohu?
I go to throw him, and my legs slip out from under me, and I say, well, plan B, and I grab out my grappling hook to try to swing us across.
All right, so Kaizen and Nohu are both like laying flat, like back to chest, like up in the air, slipping through the air. You've been moving so quickly through this little mud tunnel that your momentum is carrying you forward very rapidly. And as you two start slipping a little bit end over end, Kaizen grabs a hold of his grappling hook and proceeds to get ready to toss it. But Nohu, you have to act first. The fastball specialist failed. Your rookie has failed you.
Honestly, we already trained this for weeks, and you still don't get it. I'm
I'm sorry, I'm trying as hard as I can.
All right. Let's see how you think on your feet, and I'll just get myself away from it. And as we are flying and trying to jump over the chasm, I'll just flap my wings. I have already let go.
So as you start like flipping end over end backwards, Kaizen, and you see Nohu just wings come out and he just starts floating over the hole.
You are... How? So many surprises!
Give me an agile roll, Kaizen, to try to save yourself with a grappling hook.
Kaizen, you also
You
got,
got
an
an ace from McSherry.
Oh, thank you, McSherry.
Critical
Are you
failure.
kidding me? The dice hate me! Okay,
Obviously.
McSherry, I'm cashing it in.
All right, there's another ace. 13's better. So
How can I reach this kid?
So Nohu flaps over the distance. Kaizen's able to fling out his grappling hook, sinking it into the mud wall. And as you start like swinging down and slamming into the other side of this chasm, give me a tough roll, or potentially harm yourself as you slap into this wet mud. 16. You just go face first, and it sinks in about half an inch as you're just face planted into it. And we follow the camera follows up your rope to the top where we can see Nohu now standing on the cliff face. You turn and look back over your shoulder, Nohu, and you see rubble. You see an old facility, obviously manufactured, obviously very high quality, that has a logo for a laboratory upon it, a shattered and fractured door. And as we see that, the scene fades to black. As we go to our break for tonight, thank you very much for watching, everybody, here. Dreams of Silver and Stone. We will be back in about 10 minutes. Hopefully you are having a good time. And yeah, have yourselves a snack, have yourselves a drink, have yourselves a seat and a whatever. And we'll see you shortly. Goodbye, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dreams of Silver and Stone, brought to you here by these crazy individuals' nightmares. Brought to you by your nightmares.
Fever dreams.
Fever dreams, yes. So, when we left off, we had seen a door with a scientific symbol emblazoned on the side, and the words that I don't know who can read. Let me check your languages real quick. Nope.
No, I
Probably
think
not.
you could have just stopped at
Nope.
no reading.
It's in a language you don't understand, but it's big
Which
blazing
means
words.
adventure, obviously.
Yes. So,
Where am I supposed to be? I take it.
Kaizen
Can I read
climbs
it?
up over the side, smearing
Look,
muck
I'm
off
more
his face.
disguised. Just covered
And
in mud.
Kaizen, you have... Nope, you can't read it either.
Great.
Give me brains to see if you can determine what language it even is. You're fairly certain that it's halfling, based on what you've seen around the area.
I believe this is halfling.
What does it matter?
I guess it doesn't. Let's go. Venture forth.
As you head to the doors, you see that this is a collapsed section of some sort of greater building. How do you attempt to try to get inside? It's all collapsed stone at this point in time. There's no actual door.
Well, seems like this is one of those times where a little bit of controlled explosives will come in handy. And
Let's go.
I'll try to use one of my, what was his name? The copper pot, I believe.
All right, copper pot grenades.
The copper pot grenade. You know what? Because I can do it, I will try to modify the grenade. See if that will help at the moment of, impaction.
Thank you for the sub, Camper.
Does this trigger any kind of deja vu for either of these guys? Because
The explosion, possibly.
Pretty close to what Nohu did last time.
All right, Nohu sits down and proceeds to start tinkering with this grenade, and suddenly you hear coming off of this grenade he's holding has a rather large engine attached to it.
Talent. It's pure talent, I swear, every time.
He now has wheels attached to the grenade, and it's capable of self-driving. If you stand on it, it can travel up to 100 distance away at move 10 if you wish.
Now see, this is what I call security. We can stay all the way back into the mouth of the opening, and this thing will just drive itself forward into the, collapsed part and explode there.
Now you only have a 15-foot leeway on this edge before it is cliff, so you could set the device at the edge of 15 feet and then go to the other side of the cliff if you wish.
Oh, actually, I have about much more because I can just fly continuously.
Well, you
on the other end.
can.
I'll be like walking back, and whenever there's no more floor, my wings will just start like flapping at that point, and I'll just keep like mimicking walking backwards.
As no.
All
right. Get to safe distance.
Kaizen, a grenade with wheels on it is on the mud next to you on the ground while you're standing next to a cliff.
Well, I'm so glad you have those wings, and I'm going to have to attach my grappling hook again and go hang over the chasm.
Give me an aware roll to see if you can determine the best access to your grappling hook to swing across this muck. You think you found a good spot, and as you fling the grappling hook out,
Here's
it
hoping.
sticks and then slides out of the ceiling.
Oh no.
You're giving the Crimson Adventurers kind of a bad name.
This was never my thing. I'm trying so hard. I'm so
I
sorry.
don't know why I'll
Save
allow you.
me.
I don't know why I allow you to convince me to change the name. I just wanted to name it the Red Tide that comes every month, and you said no for some reason.
I really felt it just wasn't that appropriate. It just didn't really sum the two of us up.
But I swear, I've heard that whenever I heard that phrase come back in town, like men from 500 feet around us, like shudder in fear. What kind of awesome name is that? That can do such a thing.
All right, I'll tell you what. We can rediscuss the whole title thing and come into town later. But in the meantime, how much longer does this have before it blows up?
Oh, it's already on that motion, so I think I'll probably grab it. I think
Great.
I'll have to grab onto the end of his grappling hook and see if I can like lodge it on somewhere.
All right, give me a brains roll as you attempt to attach his grappling hook in a way that he can use. 12. 12's not terrible if you want to use that. There will just be a difficult roll made by Kaizen to make it across as he swings.
Well, it's so good because he's been rolling really, really well all day.
True,
So-
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
With the 12, that will make Kaizen's roll target to swing across this gap with an agile roll, a 16 or higher.
Okay. We've got this. We've got this.
So he jumps and 17. Kaizen, you swing back across this gap, and then there's a shift and like a pulling sensation, and then the hook comes out of the mud, and you smack into the other side as your grappling hook spins around you and starts heading down the hole next to you. No,
This
who
is
got
really
a
starting to get old.
reroll from McSherry, by the way. We'll keep that. We'll just save that ace since they've already accomplished this for later.
Did you just say I lost my grappling hook?
Yes, as it just goes.
No, who can make you another one?
Yes.
And then there's
I
an
also need a new bow at some point.
explosion. Nohu, you didn't modify the damage of the grenade, but you did make it faster. And as it slams into the wall, there's a little bit of momentum damage there. So give me your copper pot damage plus a d6.
Copper pot damage. Let me see. It's a 3d6 and plus 1. So
Copper pot
4d6.
damage has been upgraded to 4d6 in the new version, so we'll be using that. So 5d6 total. 16 points. An explosion goes off, and all of the mud and debris around the edge of the tower wall starts collapsing inward, but it doesn't seem to have done anything more than blacken the building structure itself. So as you're standing there, the just explosion goes off, mud covers it, and then that's it.
Huh. All right. This seems to be a little bit more convoluted than first I expected. But that only means that we have more time to experiment. So what do you say? More explosions or something else?
Kaizen,
Let's do that.
as you're standing there, give me a magical roll.
Okay. Two.
22. There's a little bit of a can you see the little crack in the air next to you start to appear? You don't know what that is.
Do you see this? Am I losing my mind?
Isn't that like similar to one of his cracks from before?
It is, but he doesn't seem to remember what it is, and you haven't seen it in a long time.
But do I remember that is one of his cracks?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's one of your cracks? Cracks? Crooks? Cracks?
What do I do? Do I go in it?
Kaizen, give me a 1 through 3.
I
2.
love that
All
no
right.
matter what, whether you remember it or not, you're like, ooh, a crack. Can I go into it?
Hey.
As you look over, you see somebody's face. You see a moment where Kiara was upset with you. Kiara, say something upset to Kaizen.
When was I not upset with Kaizen?
I know, just give me something you said to him in the past.
I don't actually think I've ever been really that mean to Kaizen.
About not keeping his ears like concealed.
Oh yeah, when I yelled at him to, keep his ears concealed.
All right, so you have a vision of Kiara yelling at you. You need to keep your ears concealed. This is dangerous. Yada yada yada. And then it just.
It was a mean woman telling me I needed to keep my ears concealed.
Oh, well, I don't know. You have pretty ears.
He's like caressing your ear tips.
Thank you. It's the nicest thing you've said to me all week.
Has it been?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I've really been fucking up. I really apologize. I'd really like to bring us better honor.
Oh, it's all right. It's different, to be around with somebody for so long.
Boy, is
I-
it. Okay, so more explosions or down the hole, I guess. I'm on the right side of the chasm right now. More explosions, I suppose.
Very well then. I'll set up my last two copper pot grenades in this case,
Okay.
and I'll see if any sort of modification on them will aid on this.
Okay. So you go ahead and add some mods. Give me what those mods are. Just Kajkin mods. Got it.
Yeah.
A
Can I do that
chaos
for both?
grenade.
I'm working on the two of them at the same time, so
You have to roll for each grenade. That's the way Kajkin
Oh.
upgrades work. But
ah,
you have another engine to drive one of the grenades, and one of them is glowing with a radiance like a rainbow.
I'll duct tape them together and see if I can, if they go that fast because it has like an engine, maybe I'll be flying some 20 feet behind, out in the open. See if when I start the engine, they'll be able to, cover the distance and slam at a greater velocity.
All right, so you kind of toss this thing forward, flying rapidly, have it go towards the door as quickly as possible, and then it goes to explode. And you now need to roll on the chaos table to see how it impacts the wall.
I do not have that one. Can you share it, please?
Yes, I can. Here we are. Chaos has been presented to know who.
Ooh, gooey. And I can re-roll this one as well with an ace, correct?
Yes, you can.
Let's go!
The caster becomes empowered, reducing all ability use cost to 0 overload for the next 2 rounds of the next 2 abilities used in non-combat scenes. So,
Well, that doesn't make much sense, so I'm going to ace it.
all right.
Something good for me? Ugh.
The target of the ability, in this case would be the door, grows abnormally large eyebrows and body hair very rapidly. So it's going to suddenly cause an explosion that causes hair to grow voluminously across the walls, the ceiling, the floor, everything impacted by the explosion.
I think I'll try another again. Just
All right,
to see.
there's another ace.
Ooh,
98.
98.
Nature, within a range 6 radius, rises up and attempts to remove any folk from the area that have ever littered or taken advantage of nature. Summons
That's
5
not
plant
me.
lings, bush
Thank
lings,
God
and
that's
tree
not us.
things that will fight if necessary. So, as you were there, suddenly the walls began erupting vines and small growths, and these little plant-like beings start rising up out of the floor, and they all turn towards you. Let's see if you've ever littered before. I don't believe, without a shadow of doubt.
I'll argue that what I'm trying to do is clean the place that was littered by somebody else. That means removing all of that garbage, aka drugs and such.
You do eat everything and lick everything you come across. So that's sort of cleaning some of nature, I suppose. That could possibly sway me. Give me a charming. Give me a charming roll. As long as you're higher than a 10, you will succeed on convincing these little creatures that you're not a threat.
He's a walking
Hey.
tractor.
20. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. Kaizen,
Oh no.
have you ever littered before? Explain to me why your character would not have littered or taken advantage of nature in some way.
No, he has never littered before because he is always deep in meditative state and he is always one with everything, and therefore littering on a planet would be like littering on himself. You can't
Okay.
do it.
So, how would you have avoided taking advantage of nature's bounty? And be honest, have you ever said thank you to your meal for eating it?
Of course, that's part of meditation. Before and after every meal, you thank every inanimate object that you have. Even when you're done with clothes, you thank it before you throw it away or donate it.
I will give
I thought you didn't eat before you started.
Well, I haven't
You don't even eat
I haven't
now.
eaten over 2 weeks before this incident.
That's true, and with your meditation, you keep not eating. You also happen to know where the safest locations are, and that includes against nature-wise threats that could be problematic and need to be burned. I will say you need to roll charming at above an 8 to avoid any risks based on who your character is. with these individuals.
We did go schlepping through like jungle and forest. Probably stepped on stuff.
All
Got
right.
Kaizen did help Periwinkle during that fight in
He
the.
did.
The
He
town.
helped
I did. I
Periwinkle.
revived
Heal
yeah.
her even.
Okay, so Kaizen, the plant life that rises up, just kind of stands there waiting. Nohu,
Hi.
do you wish to be able to communicate with these plant life and similar plant life in the future as one of your Nat 20 roll bonuses? Or do you want these creatures to immediately have, as they grew, broken a crack in this facility that you can walk through?
Plant communication.
All right, so you're able to speak to plant beings made of magic. From now on, you can put that on your character sheet.
Yes.
So, as you're standing there to the side, you see them all kind of rising up. Feels good to move the roots, you know? Yeah, I've just been sitting here under the ground, so much mud. I don't enjoy all this mud sitting on top of me all this time. All I want is light, and I strive for it at all times, and for some reason, I can never quite reach it, and even though I turn my face left and I turn my face right, and I can never quite catch the sun. You hear them say that, Nohu, as you're standing there.
Hey, 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 hey.
Oh,
You hear
no.
me?
It's a mobile one. Mobile one. Oh, no, watch the mobile one. They step on you. They cut you. They break things. What do you want, mobile one?
So I'm kind of trying to like pass through. But there's a bunch of like rocks, big ones, bigger than my head, small ones, big ones. Far as like, you know how the saying goes. Can you help me out?
You are looking to go through the hard dirt.
Oh, is that what it is? Rocks called? Hard dirt?
Well, of course, it takes a lot longer for us to move it aside, but it is as everything else. The plants do as they wish.
Oh well, we can, help each other out. If that thing is stopping your, what was it, like wanting to go to the outside for some sun, that can probably
You
help.
could get us sunlight. You could get us sun. He said he could get us sun. Do you think
Oh
we
yeah.
should? Will he
Oh,
believe
to
you?
be
I don't
to
know if
be
I can believe
fair,
him.
He happens to have legs. He has legs. He can never trust something with legs.
yeah, but I'm not using them right now. I'm flying.
Oh, he's like the pooing things. The pooing things. Yes, the pooing things. They give us nutrients.
Sure. What do you need? I think I ate like a bug before. It was kind of tasty, but it had a hard shell. I
What,
can probably like.
Walks over towards you and puts his little root arms around his waist and goes, "Tell you what, you trade us nutrients and sunlight. We'll move rocks for you.
Sounds like a plan.
Provide the fertilizer."
You can talk to plants too? I mean, honestly, what can't you do? You can honestly do everything, can't you? I'm confident in that now.
Well, I was trying to remove the rocks, but I didn't do that. The plants are going to be doing that, so maybe that kind of doesn't count. But other than that, no, yeah, I'm really awesome.
All right, well, what do they want?
They want some sun and poop, but I think the sun is the most important thing at the moment.
Well, I can only help them with one of those options right now. Any suggestions?
roll tough, both of you, to see if either one of you has an issue at the moment. I'd say Nohu, you could probably make it work. Kaizen, you haven't eaten anything in months.
Yeah.
All right, let's divide and conquer. I'll take care of the nutrients. You take care of the sun.
The sun. Okay.
You're about 20 feet below ground right now, so...
Sun. Well, I do have a chaos bow, or I could shoot the roof.
You could
See what
shoot
happens.
the roof with chaos and see what happens.
I mean, chaos got us into this mess. Maybe chaos can get us out.
Maybe.
Exactly, full circle.
Maybe we could just turn the roof into bubbles. That's what we're going for.
All right, so
it hasn't
Kaizen,
been a mess yet.
Kaizen grabs a hold of his bow and draws back as we see this rainbow-tipped arrow just getting ready to fire at the ceiling. As we notice Nohu off to the side, drop his backpack and drop trow, the sound of belt being removed, and the scene fades temporarily. We'll come back to that in a little bit.
You got a +1 from McSherry on there.
+1 to me. All right, and
For
Rob.
Nobu to take a poop.
Rob got a +1 for an absolute disaster of a joke, apparently. So
Yeah.
we now
It was
shift.
a shitty joke.
It was a shitty joke. We shift back over
Literally.
to Kiara.
That
Do I
was
have my weapons on me? I'm thinking about. I had like a hand cannon. Where the fuck did that go?
You don't have that. You don't have any weaponry at all. You have
I
a
think that's
purse.
fit in what you're wearing.
You have a purse
honestly.
and a nice outfit on, and that's it.
I hate it.
So you were standing on the streets. You had just kind of marched away while the driver followed you. You saw lots of individuals around. You're trying to collect your thoughts. It's not feeling great at the moment. Give me a brains roll.
I guess it's better than charming. Is it though?
5. So it's a 7. You feel like you're missing a lot.
Correct.
Having the knowledge that some parts of your past are vague, if not completely gone. The fact that you don't even know what you had for breakfast this morning, you begin to wonder if you've had a stroke. Maybe you should go to the medic.
Alright, where is the nearest medic? Just curiosity. Maybe I should go get this checked out.
Dr. Edvins, right over on the corner there, they've got an outpost. You can go on in. I'm sure that the card that we have, the AEC, will take care of any costs.
Right, is that the card that I totally know that we have and know what it does? Okay, and I'll then go to the medic.
So you walk over to a clinic, basically, and as you step inside, you hear people sitting in the waiting room. There's just a couple of them. One of them's like this woman who's just going, I have such a bad cold. How come nobody's helping me? Why is nobody helping me? And someone off to the side is just sitting there scratching at his foot, which you can see has obviously got a rash on it. Shut up. You got it bad. I got it worse. Look at this thing. I got this from walking in the below. Teach me to go down there, servants or not. You visited your servants down below and they gave you an infection? Oh gosh. You see her like back up away from this individual. The waiting room attendant sitting nearby just kind of looks over at you with this sunken-eyed, very tired-looking face. Kind of leans forward. Oh, excuse me, dear. Excuse me. Where are my manners? Welcome to Edvin's clinic. If you will come up here and present your symptoms as well as anything that's currently going on with you, we'll help you as soon as we can. If you fill out your forms and provide the AEC, we can, of course, extradite any type of services you need based on your household.
Okay, I'll go fill out the paperwork and give him that whatever the fuck that card is that I definitely don't know because I've
What do
never
you-
experienced that before in my life.
What do you write on what's wrong with you?
Can't remember shit.
Can't remember shit is what you put down. And
Yep.
as you hand over the
TRO the
AEC,
way with words.
a small electronic device with like chips on one end of it and a whole bunch of magic swirling energy inside of these contained cubes inside of it. Hand that over to the individual who then sticks it into another machine, and you see her like eyes widen. Oh, Miss Leon, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that this was yours. Certainly, we will have you escorted in shortly if you'll just take a seat. She points over to like a very ritzy chair.
Last name. Not even my last name. I don't believe I'm married to her.
You are not married to her.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna go sit down and just still ponder why the fuck everyone's afraid of this household.
All right,
Like, I know a little bit of why everyone's afraid, right? But not, I guess, the whole story.
Well, you can't remember right now. There's a whole bunch of red flag notes that keep going up from Nova. So the lady like
Ready to
turns,
Sharpie
leaves,
next time, maybe that's...
and no less than about 30 seconds later, someone comes out. Oh, Miss Leon. They like
It's probably
escort
the
you.
first time I've ever been in a clinic either.
They escort you into the
Assume I
back.
don't die.
There's this like rosy scent that's wafting through the hallways, very ritzy. Yes, you see individuals inside of other rooms off to the side. They've got these nice silken curtains, like closing off and keeping things closed. You hear the voices of medical practitioners inside of the rooms, and they escort you into a small chamber with a very soft bed, with a whole bunch of laid out drinks that are, have ice. Some of them are hot, some of them are, room temperature. There's a whole cabinet full of various delicacies and desserts awaiting you.
I feel like that's not sanitary.
You mean no?
I feel like, here, just cough on all these drinks, and if you don't drink them, we're gonna leave them in the room for the next
No,
person.
they throw them out and they replace them between every guest.
Well, that's just wasteful. These
That's-
plants would be pissed in this situation.
That's true. So you sit down, in comes the doctor after a while. All right, then, Miss Leon, and you are not Miss Leon.
No, I'm not. You are the first one to actually make that connection that I am not her.
Well, she's been in here before. You see, I have dealt with many of her little scars and cuts, scrapes, and bruises. The occasional knife wound and gunshot, of course.
Hot. Sorry.
So who, pray tell, are you that you're carrying her AEC? Do I need to report you to the authorities?
I mean, if good, it probably wouldn't do you any good. She would probably get very pissed.
She would
I'm her
get-
girlfriend.
Oh, in a relationship with Miss Leon. Well, nice to see that she's out and about dating. Seems like in her line of work, you wouldn't have time for that sort of thing.
Is she not just nobility? I assume she has plenty of time to do things outside of meetings.
Oh, no, she's... You don't know what she does in day-to-day. Dearie me, maybe it's not my place to say.
Well, it's about to be your place to say.
Well, madam, it's surprising you don't know this, but she's one of the top-ranked bounty hunters in the Empire.
Of course she fucking is. Interesting. That doesn't make me uncomfortable with our whole situation. Is
Leon
she in
is-
here or is it just me?
What was that?
Nothing.
Probably that poor person's rash from the lobby.
House
Sorry, I
Leon
have
has-
the poor.
House Leon has worked alongside the Peacekeepers and the DAD for quite some time to remove difficult and dangerous threats.
Interesting. Huh. Does that bring back anything? Any memories?
Give me a brains roll, Kiara!
I would love to do something more than like a single digit. How about 14?
14.
Would 16 be better? I do have 2 banked plus 1.
Yes, 16 would meet a good goal here.
I'll do 16. I'll take my
So,
2 plus 1.
with a 16, as you begin to hear that information, you remember seeing her face, you remember seeing her angry with you, and a little bit older than you remember, but the same as now. And you remember friends. You had friends, you were working with Clay and some other crazies on Miocenis. You remember that they're all in danger. That's what comes back to you very quickly.
I'm gonna stand up. Thank you for your service. I have to go.
You must. That's all that you had to. And you leave. That will be 1350 as you like walk out the door.
Put it on my phone. I'm sure there's a tab.
So Kiara rushes outdoors. You see the carriage driver standing nearby again. Are you feeling better?
No, not in the slightest. Where is the nearest place I can get a ship and someone who can drive me somewhere?
Ship, I'm sorry. We do not have enough money to procure a vessel anywhere at the moment.
I do not believe that for a fucking moment.
Just had 1,000
I-
silver.
I know I just tossed 1,000 silver at this dude.
Been. You are.
Are you about to tell me that I'm on like house arrest and I'm not allowed to leave the planet? Because if you do, I'm gonna get really pissed.
You are the lady of the house's property.
Whoa.
Gross. I know. Could you?
You
hold
don't
the-
make enough allowance
I
for a
know.
ship. Sorry.
Thank you. That's gross.
She found you before, and you seem to have some problems. Look, I don't feel comfortable talking about this, but you seem more clear than you have been in quite some time. She got you to sign over your estate. She got you to sign over your name. You have been deemed mentally unfit to take care of yourself, and she has been taking care of you. You are under her
Hashtag free
protection
Brittany.
I'm
and
gonna
are
say, you
not.
Brittany, bitch!
You're
Brittany,
not
bitch.
allowed to leave Avalon without her. You're not allowed to travel without her. I'm sorry if the peacekeepers see you at any of the checkpoints, they're not going to allow you to go through. They'll report you, and I will get in trouble.
That will not be the first time that the peacekeepers were told about to find me and you. They're not very good at their job, is all I'm saying. I've done it before. I can do it again. Very important. No, I feel like you probably wouldn't tell me this, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Weapons. Do you have any? Where can I procure some?
I mean, security and citizenry are not allowed any.
I understand the legality of it, but I would really like to know where I can get some illegal ones.
Yeah, I've been very forthcoming with you for quite some time here, and I don't feel comfortable going this far into legalities, if you understand what I mean. Elena, believe me, I greatly appreciate the silver you have provided me and my family, but I can't get you black market weaponry.
I'm sure I can find someone who could. None of my abilities help me in this situation. None of them are meant for social situations.
Okay, so but you're getting your memory back, and you did live on Avalon for a long time, and you knew a lot of bad people. So maybe you have your own connections. You just need to give this guy the slip.
That is also true. I could do the classic Kiara thing and light the carriage on fire.
Just disconnect the horse first. Is there a horse?
It's an
first?
automated
I think it's
carriage.
automated, so
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
fine.
all the carriages, pretty much, unless they're bougie and purposefully very expensive horses, will be automated carriages in the upper city.
Okay, actually, I'm going to use Grinning Jack and speak in a way that disarms the target, causing one distraction.
Okay, so what are you attempting to do to your driver?
I want to give him the slip. So I think I want to just say that I see. Yeah, I'm just gonna look like past him over his shoulder and just go, "Darling, you are here early. What are you doing here?" In the hopes he'll turn around so I can run into a crowd.
Nice. Give me a charming roll as you attempt to lie, and
Oh,
I will
fuck.
give him a distraction for his roll.
Classic.
He gets
Look over
a
there.
7 as you do a look over there to your 9.
Hey!
And he goes, "What? Oh no!" And he like turns he's like white as a sheet suddenly as he turns around, and Kiara books off in the other direction. Running through the streets, give me an agile roll as you attempt not to smash into nobles nearby. And that is an 18. You stumble through the streets, but you kind of narrowly move your way through the crowds.
Frogger,
And
bitch.
you're having to hold onto your skirt petticoats and hold them up off of the ground as you're running. And you turn around a corner and find yourself standing in an alleyway, just breathing heavily after a little while.
Do I remember any shady contacts when I've lived on
Give
Avalon?
me a brains roll, Kiara.
Come on, roll for shady.
18.
Can the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Give me, so you have an option here. I'll give you an option. Either you have someone who sometimes smuggled people into and out of mostly just into the upper city, that might be able to get in here, or you know a crooked noble who spends a lot of time in the lower city. One or the other.
I think the noble will have more of what I need, like a ship and some weapons. Also, I'm confused at the whole, she had you sign your, like, family name over and, like, your thing. I don't have any of that, so I don't understand how that happened.
Thinking from the position that you're in right now, you recognize that she had the surgery performed on you and changed your identity. And in an effort to make sure that identity stayed secret, she bought the house out that she made the identity for.
Oh, shit. Okay. She's insane.
Has the quirky little side effect of she owns you.
Right.
That's just the little
Weird.
side effect.
Getting
So
like away Yubaba vibes, you know? You're like,
So you know a dwarven nobleman who has, on occasion, rubbed elbows with the lower class, gone down and did a little bit of slumming it and having parties and things with individuals, by the name of Marcus Vieiro. Give me a d20 roll to see how much of who he is you can make up versus what I'm going to make up. So
He's very nice and he likes me.
the higher
and
the
he'll
roll,
give me whatever I want.
okay. So you can make up about 75% of this individual when it comes to generous personality. Who is Marcus Vieiro? Is he somebody that went down there and was a nice guy? Was he, generally just not happy with being a noble? What type of personality does this figure have?
No, I think he went down there to also be a dick and just do petty crime for fun because it's thrilling to do petty crime for fun. And Kiara caught him doing some really dumb, really bad sleight of hand, and instead of calling him out, she just was like, "That's not the technique you have to use." And so he has, had some kind of fondness for her because of that.
Okay.
So I think it's more like, if you're gonna scam people, if you're gonna steal from people, at least do it right and stop just being really shitty at it.
All right, so he has a fondness for you because you helped teach him how to be a better crook. Got it.
For fun.
And so he's aware of you, probably bumped into you a few times back when you lived in the lower city. You might have even have sold something once or twice through him that was going to make its way up to the top cities, where you can usually get the best value, the best bang for your buck. So Marcus Vieiro's place is about half a day's travel across the upper circle by walking. If you're going to find some other way to travel, you could try to hail a cab. Basically, there are automated carriages that have drivers.
As soon as I hail a cab, she fucking knows where I am. I know how this works. Can I use hidden rabbits to no longer be Elena and to be someone fucking else?
So you will need to provide me how you change.
I don't have any money. I gave all that money to the fucking.
Yes, you just gave up all $1,000 and then ran away from the only person with it. So you don't currently have your gear in order to make a disguise, but what can you do to do that? You could also try to find a way to get a disguise before you make that roll. Looking around, give me an aware roll. I'll give you some ideas on where you might be able to find some disguise materials.
you could trade see your fancy dress.
18. Yes, for one, this dress is probably worth a good 100 or 200 silver. You happen to look around the room, around the city from where you're at. There are a couple of stores nearby that might be able to provide you with some things that you might need. Trading your dress out, you'd have to find a specialty shop that deals in that, or find someone that's willing to buy it. You also see a couple of servants in the back alleyways moving between some of those as they go about their business, remaining unseen.
We're going to the servants.
All right, so you start walking down the alleyway, heading towards the servants, as a few of them see you and, wide-eyed. One of them just goes, "Ma'am, please, I didn't do anything wrong."
No, I assure you, I am not here to punish you in any way, shape, or form. I have a very odd request for you.
An odd request. I don't.
I need your clothes, and I need you to take my dress.
You want to trade me outfits?
Correct.
While I have to admit that is a beautiful outfit that you have on, and it would be
probably worth way more money than any asshole.
I mean, but it would look
so really
terrible on me. It looks fantastic on you, but it would look terrible on me. Give me an
sell
aware
it if
roll
you need it.
real quick.
She probably just doesn't want to get in trouble. That's a
22. She thinks you're playing some sort of game with her and are going to be making some sort of bet with other nobility. It's going to be a trick.
How can I convince you that I genuinely just need your clothes and not need to be in this dress?
You could possibly be honest with her a little bit about what you're looking for. So if you want to make another charming roll for me.
I can.
So how about before you roll? So we'll take this roll
Good,
back.
yeah, don't cut that.
Before you roll, I want you to think up what you want to say to this person and how you're going to try to convince them. We'll come back to your scene in a moment.
Sounds good.
So we see Kiara standing there looking at this individual and grabbing a hold of her outfit and then almost looking desperately down either one of the rooms. Scene fades out to black and we come back in to Clay and Nova. The two of you have stepped back into town. Brownie has left to go out and have fun. And it's just the two of you inside the kitchen at the house, staring around at what has been your life for a while. Clay, your memories are starting to come back a little bit at a time. You remember your son. You remember that you were told that he was a junior cadet that was working underneath the Empire. You remember being happy that he was alive, but for some reason you don't remember the feelings associated of either guilt or stress or grossness that working for the Empire might have put into your heart. You just remember being happy to hear that he was alive and well. It came by almost by accident as someone named Chase, and you heard the name, and they described him, and it was your son after you went and visited. You've been to visit him a couple of times as he has gone from junior cadet to senior cadet and is now on his last legs to becoming a peacekeeper in the army.
So proud of you. I mean,
As Clay almost seems to say that to you as you're standing in front of him, Nova.
You okay?
Hi, right. I just remembering that my son's alive, and he's gonna be a peacekeeper, but that does mean actually gonna get paid honest wages, and
Is it though?
well, we'll cross that bridge later. We're just gonna take the win that he's alive right now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Clay. I'm so happy for you. I know some of my family's alive that I didn't think so either. I feel it. It's hard. It's weird.
All right. So we have a lot of very confusing things to do now.
Yeah.
Also, I'm very curious. Do you still have like the imaginary friend things going on, or is that like just part of like, I don't know if this is, there's already so much weirdness. I'm just saying, right?
They're still there.
Okay, sure. I'll take your word.
I also see Eternals that hang around. So it's not necessarily imaginary friends, although those ones I made myself, so maybe they are. Why? Is that helpful in some way?
I was mostly, honestly, just curious.
Fair enough.
So, my best idea at the current moment. So, Kaizen and these memories are coming back slowly. They're gonna be constantly on the move, which I feel like means it's gonna be easier to just have people keep an eye out at rest places where they would have to come back for supplies as opposed to going out to find them.
That's fair. Maybe we could lure them.
It would be so easy to lure Nohu, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like something really shiny and loud would work.
I mean, I just start, okay, here's the thing. What you're talking about is lying. That's one of my specialties. So
That wouldn't be lying. It would just be beckoning in a way that is alluring for the particular. Okay, fine. What do we need to do?
Right. No. Here's the thing. I understand. You're a nice person. You don't like to lie. But I also can't go to Avalon and figure out what's going on with your mom, if anything, and what's going on with Kiara, if you're catching my drift.
Yeah. We also need to figure out Patchy.
I have no idea where to even start with that one.
No, he disappeared before I forgot.
Right.
I remember he disappeared before I forgot.
Okay, so I can keep an eye out for any Skixen who might know.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just focus on Kaizen and Nohu, right?
Right.
And then, because those are the closest people, we will hope. then that Patchy comes back, but maybe he's doing something Patchy important, and it seems like he left on his own volition, right?
Wait.
So, or he got kidnapped in the middle of the night, I guess.
So
Anyway, but
okay.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
2 things I'm good at: lying,
hmm
finding other people who are kind of shady, and becoming friends. So I can do my best to.
Is one of those part of the 2, like a 2-parter? Because that's 3.
Sure.
things.
There we go. I'll give myself 3 skills. Why not? So, if I go around, lure in our wayward friends, and then I can do my best to, you know,
Oh! I forgot something I can do.
Oh,
I can talk to bugs.
well, that could definitely be helpful.
Yeah, I could
right.
put like a hey bugs. Have you? And they could do like a Twilight bark of the bug variety, and they could find
All right.
Nohu and Kaizen.
Part of that went over my head, but yes, exactly. That sounds great.
It's a reference to a clicky on Avalon. I'm sorry.
Oh, the closest I got to a clicky was I stole like a tape once. That's the closest to a clicky theater I've ever been. Anywho, so if you send out the bug word, and I go send out the people word, once we have a little development, if you could, if we could figure out a way to get you to Avalon and get Kiara, because I'm gonna figure out a way to maybe get a message, but
There's a knock on the door.
who is it?
It's Bo.
Oh, come in, Bo.
And you see like the door open, and then the young Skixon kind of steps in a little bit hunched and lurpy, as his not quite growing into his body quite as well as maybe his older brother did way back in the day.
Posture, Bo. Posture.
I'm
Sound
here
like my mom.
to say
Okay,
to
relax.
you.
It's fine, relax. I don't know why I said that. I apologize.
I wanted to check in because Clay and Nova, you said you would help me go visit my brother in jail in a couple of days, right?
Yes, of course. I would be
Wait.
happy to.
His court appearance is coming up soon.
Right.
So I don't suppose you know anybody that has money that could help us get representation for him?
It. Actually, possibly, but we'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay.
I have a picnic tomorrow, but after the picnic, I believe, I'm fairly certain I've talked to Brownie about this, so I'd be happy to take you over. I've and all of that such.
Okay.
Remind me where the prison is nearby?
It's in Fort Mesa.
Of course, right. So, yes, I would be happy to.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, Dad said not to ask for, money. He gets weird about that sort of thing. But I asked everybody else in town, and everybody else in town's like, we don't have any money, so I didn't know what to do about that.
Hey,
Nova's literally gonna take like everything out of her pockets that she has to like give to Bo.
How much
can
money
take
is
all of
this?
that. I don't know. It's like
and
a button and some beads and some copper.
You think they'll take this? At the house?
I think Nova, I think, has a better way of maybe helping later, but for now, first of all, Bo, I've met a lot of people like your pa in my life, and I'm of the personal opinion it's always better to live and ask for help than to die with your pride, right? So don't feel ashamed. Everyone needs help sometimes.
Well, thanks.
It's just an expression, by the way. I don't think your pa's gonna die because he won't take money. Just to make that clear.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's just an expression.
I'm gonna go to bed now. So, I will see you in a couple of days if I don't see you whenever the next time I see you is. And you see
course.
him just like turn and start like bounding away back into the street.
We have to help him.
Right. So, the list of things to do at Avalon is growing,
Yeah.
and the list of things to do here is growing.
Yes. So first and foremost, find Nohu and Kaizen, and then
Right.
then continue upon the list.
So, I think you thinking about you might with your bugs because they're probably not in the towns. They're out in the middle of nowhere.
So as you
So
are
you
standing
can-
there talking, a knock happens on the door.
Who is it?
You hear like scratching noises and squeaks. It's obviously Skixon. They can't talk through the
Oh.
door.
He opened the door.
You see a Skixon, relatively familiar, but you don't remember why, with a shock of red hair that runs down the back of his head. You see that he's covered in claw marks and scratches and bleeding heavily, holding one arm and looking at you. Hi, I'm Crimson Mane. I'm a friend of Patchy's.
Well, come in, you're hurt. What's going on?
As he kind of like stumbles in through the door. We were ambushed. He was
Can I do it? Lick it better.
He was taken. You can do that, yeah. So give me the healing roll. I was me. I made a mistake. I tried to get him to help. I tried to get him to come help Red Eye, who was sick and dying, and the Vincier caught us. The bad ones, the other ones, and they took him prisoner, and now they're trying to make more of those bombs.
The bombs? You mean Patchy's bombs? The melty
Yeah.
Skixon bombs?
The Vincier had a version of them already, but they targeted everyone. I'm worried about what they're gonna do with that.
I got two.
Who-
I went a D4.
All right.
Uh.
You see some of his wounds lighten up a little bit. You see him breathe a little bit less
No,
haggardly.
I don't. I'm not gonna lie. First of all, we're having a big memory thing right now, and also, we didn't Patchy isn't exactly the sharing kind when it came to all of this stuff. I was kind of under the impression, just from having very large gaps with context clues, that the bad ones you were kind of a part of. No
That's
offense.
Look, a lot of shame on my shoulders. I was young. I was dumb. Skixon only lived 20 years. I mean, many of us want to see the end of this war, this occupation by the Empire before we grow old and die. And doing it the right way takes too long. Violence is quick. Figuring out how to resolve a solution long term is a little harder. I fell into category B, and I've since realized that I don't want people to go out that way, It's bad.
Clay, you said you're good at lying. Can you tell if other people are lying?
Give me an aware roll real quick.
Honestly, Clay's gonna decline too, because Clay's gonna say, "Listen, I know what it's like to fuck up and be a fuck up, and only after bad things happen do you kind of realize the path you were headed down, right? And I'm gonna guess you didn't choose a lot of the parts of your life that led you down that path."
I was taught this way from a very young age by Patchy himself, as a matter of fact. But Patchy tried to find a better way, and some of us didn't agree with it, and now there's a divide. There's those that just want to wipe off anything Dwarven and anything outsider from this world, and some of us see the benefit of others and don't want to have any more of this violence.
Okay, so if you're really wanting to change, make a difference, absolutely, we want to help. But the three of us, especially you in your condition, it's not probably the best odds. Luckily, we've got two friends who are quite helpful in a tough spot that shouldn't be too far, hopefully. Now, I don't know how much roots you got, but we've got a few ways to try and look for them. But they're going to be very hard to miss, and they're not subtle, and they're not quiet. So if you help us find them, we can, and thus have some time to heal. I don't want to talk for you, Nova, but I at least be happy to help you get
Yeah.
Patchy out of there.
Patchy said he had some real good friends, real capable friends that might be able to help. So
Yeah,
You
I'm
said we
capable.
were friends.
I'll do whatever it takes, and maybe I
Okay.
can get a nap in first.
You can have my bed.
Okay.
He said we were friends.
Where would that be at, by the way,
In
ma'am?
the basement.
And you see him like just nod. If I could rest for a while, maybe we could.
Don't
talk
drink
more
the
later.
downstairs water. If you need some, I have some boiling.
Okay, I'll remember that. Thank you. You see him kind of stumble a little bit, go to the door, kind of brace himself, dizzy. Then he stumbles down the stairs, and you hear him like land on your bed.
The plot thickens. So now, oh God, I'm gonna go talk to Bugs. I'll be right back.
Nova walks out on that statement. What is your last statement of the scene, Clay?
I'm just gonna like look out at the sky and say, Kara, wherever you are, I hope you are having at least a little bit more luck than us.
And the scene fades to black as we see Clay staring at the sky. And we shoot right over to the Crimson
Less luck.
Adventurers crew over here as Kaizen releases the bow and the stones begin being shoved aside a little bit at a time by these roots. But you're looking for what happens next with Nohu. There's a loud like horrifying noise you don't want to repeat on air. And you see all of them just going, yeah. You see like cheers and like hands like going through your muck. Kaizen, give me a chaos roll as you proceed
Give me
to
the table.
tables coming over. See what happens as you shoot the ceiling with this. I'm sure nothing horrible is gonna happen.
No, it's gonna be great actually.
Not
So
gonna make him roll to take a dookie.
he doesn't have to do that. His dookie is full of nutrition. I mean, Nohu eats everything under the sun. So a burst of rejuvenating energy flows through the air, giving anyone within range 6 of the target 1d4 applications of the region. I am going to say that Kaizen, you create a miniature ball of sun that appears at the ceiling. And both
I
of
thought you
you
were gonna go fart with that. So well done. Good job taking pyro, Tyson.
you feel radiated with a warmth that makes both you and Nohu feel better. And the plants just begin going, and their hands go up to the sky. They thank you gratefully for being the sun bringers. They keep crying out.
Aha! How about that?
And your bow,
Well done.
your bow shatters into dust in your hand.
Again, I really need you to make me a new bow at some point.
Don't worry, don't worry. That's what it is for.
So these little individuals break open the edge of this tower, and now there is a hole that is gaping that leads into this old facility.
Huzzah! Come on, let us go forward. I'll repair your bow inside.
Kaizen and Nohu step inside, and on the cracked stones of the room around, that symbol, the consistent symbol, is all over the place in here. You can
Thank
see
you.
old
Fines.
you see old machinery that is disheveled and broken. You see an entire section of this tower is still got like mud and dirt kind of flowing through some of the rooms where it has collapsed into and been eaten by the swamp. And you see some of that strange blue glowing goo, Nohu, that you had found on the tower that grew your wings.
Oh, that's wing-giving juice. I remember it.
It's what?
Wing-giving juice. You know, flip, flip,
Wait
flip.
a minute, wait. Are you telling me that if I eat that goo, I will get wings?
Well, technically, you drink the goo. You don't really eat it. It's not that chunky, but I mean, it happened to me. It made it appear a couple of wings on my foot first, then it went down to my butt, and then on my back. So
Well,
why wouldn't that do the exact same thing to you?
I mean, I am a great adventurer, and it would be only right if I were to take this challenge on, but I'm a bit scared, I'm not going to lie. I can't quite handle eating things or drinking them like you.
Kaizen, give me a magical roll.
No.
8. So that strange crack starts to appear in the air next to you again.
Oh, good, it's back.
As you stare at it, you see this chemical in your hands. You see a machine kind of in the sky that seems to be shooting rays of light up at the stars. And you see a portal as something starts to appear in the sky. And then that image, as it fades, you see a face. Kaizen, no. Nova, if you will say that in a sad way.
No.
You see Nova's face on the other side of that, and then it fades out.
Oh. You know, this thing could be rather helpful if I knew what the fuck it was trying to say to me.
Was that the angry lady again?
No, it was some different lady in purple hair and saying no.
Kaizen, now you roll
Chip in the
brains.
sky. Lights. All right.
21.
21.
As you think about her face for a second, it's Nova. You've lived like 2 lifetimes with her, technically. Part of them on Sedna and part of them here.
It's Nova. It's Nova. Do you remember Nova?
Big lady, purple hair, pointy ears. No, it doesn't ring a bell.
What? You know, sometimes I feel like you're not letting on to everything you know.
Oh, look, something shiny. What?
Nohu moves over and grabs a hold of a handful of little metal parts and gains 5 high-grade scrap.
Ooh.
That's you know what? I think this will do perfect for repairing your bow with a little bit of this juice in here or the ooze. I think this will give it the kick it needs to maybe take withstand another shot or two.
Oh, let's go.
So you're gonna go take some of that ooze you see upon the floor and use it to help modify the bow?
Of course.
Okay, give me a brains roll as you attempt to repair it with the high-grade scrap. Your roll target is only a 10 to fix it.
So this is considered a repair roll, so I can
Yes,
add my
it is.
bonifications.
Okay, then.
That is a 21. So he sits down. It's going to take him a little while to fix it. What are you doing while he's busy looking at that?
I am going to feel my environment and hone in on anything that may be useful for me.
Okay, give me... do you want to attempt to do this with magic using an overload, or do you want to use your awareness?
Let's use awareness.
Okay.
Oh,
5.
It's almost a 20.
You're a bit busy, because every time you start to look at something else, Nohu kind of snaps you back, and you keep getting this ominous feeling that keeps coming to you.
Okay, so I
No,
decided to...
it's not me. I keep telling you.
Ah! So, I sit down and I pull off my backpack and I look in and see the pouch with all of my normal things and open the secondary pack and see the bird, the mechanical bird, and I pull it out and I pull the ring out
Mm-hmm.
and I set the ring back in my pocket and I start tinkering with the bird to see if it activates or what the hell it may be.
As you kind of twist the little key on the back of the bird and everything, you hear it start
Are you?
saying the last thing you and Nova said to each other while you were holding it.
It's connected to Nova. It's a recorder. Do you think you can see if there's any more memories in this thing when you're done?
Should be possible.
Interesting. And I start tinkering around with a bit more to see if there's anything else I can figure out what it will do or if it's sentient.
All right.
I'll
As
probably
you...
have to like disassemble it like to its bare bones and no,
Oh,
just
what's
in
that?
case.
That's good option,
Give
shall
me
we? Maybe.
a brains roll, Kaizen, as you're sitting there, because he's currently still working on your bow. So while you look at it, you can tell that there are a couple of switches on it. So you flick one of them, and the wings start patting, and it just starts buzzing up in front of you.
Well, would you look at that? I flip another switch.
As you flip another switch, it's still hovering in the air as you click that, and you see its little head turn towards you, and it just says something to you. Recipient of message.
Yes, go on.
Please provide recipient of message.
What are you?
Please provide recipient of message.
Recipient of message. Hmm.
Timeout.
Okay.
Timeout. Delay. Deactivating. You see it just kind of flutters down to the floor and turns off.
Yes, I think this thing's definitely going to need to be hacked. And then I go to the ring. What is this? Oh god. Put the ring on.
As you put the ring on, nothing happens.
It's very nice. Fits me perfect. Like it was made for me. I'm gonna leave it on.
You know, giving it some thought, considering that the bird is capable of reproducing sounds and it asks you for a receiver, maybe you can hand or speak your message and it will try to, try to find the receiver in order to replay the message. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, maybe you are right. I turn its switch back on.
Recipient of message.
Nova.
Location of recipient.
Miocenis.
Location too large. Reduce.
Would I remember Stuckfoot?
Give me a brains to see if you can remember Stuckfoot. I know who remembers the name of the town.
Oh.
But
if I was about to, if I could remember, I would have given it to him.
At Stuckfoot.
Stuckfoot.
Okay. Stuckfoot.
Body of message.
What?
Please provide body of message.
Nova. This is Kaizen. We are in a MILF. A large MILF. With a base. Where's the location of this, Nohu?
73 palms to the south, 83 mounds to the northeast, then 7 circles around that big rock with a nasty face that I've painted on it. Easy to find.
That. I'm sure you may know who talk. I'm not sure. But this is where we are. We're still here. And clearly we've had a memory issue. I really hope that you remember enough to even understand this message, but I'll be looking for you. See if you can find us.
Message
End
received.
message.
Delivering message. Will return when able. It just flies up and then starts moving out of the room.
Goodbye. That was handy.
It's a messenger pigeon.
Excellent. What a handy thing to have. Okay, so then I'll just sit there and twiddle my thumbs while he fiddles on my bow. No, I'll just blindly go walking around and see if I see anything cool.
Good. I was about to, scold you there for a moment.
I felt it. I knew that I always need to be searching because there's always a treasure just around every corner.
All right, as the two of you are continuing to work there, the bow is finished. We fade out on that scene, which we'll return to next episode. As we head back to Kiara. Kiara, what did you say to this server?
I've decided I don't have time to try and argue with this person, and I'm just gonna hail a cab and hope that my name gets me, that name gets me somewhere.
So
and if Aurora shows up, I'll deal with it.
You turn and you go and walk back out onto the street, and you head towards a vehicle. A vehicle swings up beside as you kind of hail it, this automated carriage, and as you sit inside of it and kind of squeeze in, the individual goes kind of looking over his shoulder at you just a little bit. Where are you going?
I'll give him like a block away from the sketchy person's address, because I'm not gonna have him just take me right there, of course. So.
Of course. You see him like turn back, and as his hand closes over the steering wheel, you see the same hand of that individual that you had caught before. As tonight's episode comes to a close, thank you very much for watching The Dreams of Silver and Stone, everyone. appreciate you being here. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We're going to go around the table. We're going to give out our socials where you can find us, any amazing and new wonderful content that we will be coming out with soon. A whole bunch of it here on this channel. And what you're looking forward to most in the next episode. Why not? Here we go. We're going to start off tonight with, that would be Stratful. Strat, you're up first. Mr. Nohu.
Hello, everybody. I'm Stratful, playing as Nohu, your faithful companion and adventurer. You can find me every week on this same program, and I hope that you'll continue being with us for tomorrow with the Sparrows gameplay. They have their own kind of crazy over there, so maybe you can judge just who is the most volatile group member. I would say, just for reference, just to keep it in mind. Other than that, I think what I'm waiting or what I'm looking forward most the next game, I think it will be just how much of an impression that Nohu can keep on giving Kaizen. Because there's one thing about jumping forward 6 months and losing that point of frame in time, and there's the sense of admiration that he's been garnering in this short amount of time.
Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that as well. That was lovely. That interaction between those two characters, that was good. That was a good one. That was a good one tonight. We're gonna move on from there over to Blitz and Gamer. Shen, your turn.
I agree with Chad in the specific situation of Kaizen and Nohu that I would watch that show. Just like the buddy cop show where Kaizen doesn't remember his shit at all, and it's just like, no, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic. Who knew that Nohu had leadership skills? Honestly, he was right there. He was a mentor. He was giving positive feedback and helpful critiques. Really, it was impressive. But yeah, I'm Shannon. I'm Glitz and Gamer, and I'm here every Thursday, mostly playing Nova, periodically playing in Anna's Monster Heart as Mab, and also on Tuesdays, Steven and I do Roll Charisma, where we're interview people and have a good time, and we're doing some more reaction videos and stuff. I hope, because I thought that was super fun, and even if no one else likes it, I had a good time. So that's
I don't care because I'm partying those days.
Yes. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to knowing what the fuck is going on.
Well, I'm sure it will all be revealed in due time.
Yeah.
So, moving right along from here, Anna, Sanctum Cosplays. Your turn.
My brain hurts. Hi everyone, I'm Sanctum Cosplays, also known as Kiara, also known as I'm in the trap of some dwarf who's a time mage when he's not a dwarf. And I'm gonna die. That's where I'm at. I do things. I'm here on Thursdays playing Kiara, and then on the off weeks of Silver and Stone, I lead a wonderful Monster Hearts game that is full of drugs and sex and debauchery and peer pressure and just every bad thing you could ever have about high school. I would also like to state, Ty, that we did in fact get rid of the Empire without violence, and therefore we level up.
Yes,
100%.
I will acquiesce.
You're welcome.
Level up.
So we did, in fact, level. I'm looking forward to playing Leveled Up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when I'm in the Time Mage's cab. That sounds like a children's book, like a young adult novel.
The Time Mage's cab.
Yeah. Also, we are literally 4 followers away from 100 followers on Instagram, so please go. I work really hard on Instagram.
She does.
Please.
Go like our Instagram.
Yeah. Hey, that's me.
All right, moving right along from there over to Rob. Real Rob be rolling there.
Yes, the real one.
The real one.
Don't watch out for those fake Robbie Rollins out there. There's so many. Hello, everyone. I am, as mentioned, the real Robbie Rolling. You can find me here having a wonderful time every Thursday. You can find us back here next Wednesday with a very fun, clockwork one-shot with the wonderful people over at Nat 21 Adventures. A lot of cool folks. Listen, these are actual professional actors and performers. I'm not professional in any way, so let's see how this goes. So come join us for that Wednesday evening, and other than that, keep watching out because I might have some art and maybe just something fun to
already
show you
spoiled
all
it.
soon.
Ty literally already spoiled it in T&B's Power Hour, so the cat is out of the bag. Ty spoiled it.
I did not.
Wow.
I didn't
Yes,
spoil
he did.
anything. You know,
He did.
you're
Go find the
imagining
clip.
things.
He
You're
did.
imagining things.
Find the clip.
And we're moving right along from there to Steven, El Deviant Devil.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steven, El Deviant Devil. You can catch me on this show, putting massive kinks and things, apparently, every Thursday, except for our off Thursdays, of which you can also find me on this channel playing Monster Hearts, where I play...
Having massive kinks. I mean, what?
Yeah,
I was
having
gonna
massive
say
kinks.
different
Yeah,
kinds of kinks. Yeah.
Yeah,
You beat me to it.
being a sadistic, controlling, evil, queen-ass bitch. So come check that out. And then you can also catch me on Tuesdays, co-hosting that lovely Roll Charisma with Shannon over there. And what do I want to see next week? Well, I want to see what we're going to find in our MILF before we all reunite and find out that the Empire's forgot about our little charade and everything's groovy. That's what I want.
Aw, you're adorable.
Yes. I do hear that Eidolon is a very important place to a certain individual, so I'm sure it'll be a great finding that you all have made. I, of course, am Tybris, creator of the game we're playing tonight, the game we'll be playing on tomorrow, and on that 21 Adventures one-shot on Wednesday. So I'm blessed. I'm incredibly excited to see all this stuff going on, to be able to have all these wonderful and amazing people playing something that I created that I think is scary to put out there into the world, and everybody seems to enjoy, and I don't know why, but as long as they keep doing it, I am very happy. So thank you for that. You can catch me, Lord Even Star, on Twitter and on Twitch. I've actually just rebranded myself from Lord Even Star Art back to Lord Even Star because I got that available again after 6 months. We've been doing this for like 6 months on this channel. That's amazing. So, to all of you new viewers, followers, and watchers, thank you very much for being out there, for coming and on board the show. I know it's a bit of a crazy ride. I recommend starting from the beginning. You can catch that over on YouTube, on our Roll for Chaos YouTube channel. And keep up with this nonsense. We do allow all of our viewers to throw everything into disorder and chaos, because that is how we roll. That is the same reason why the Empire had to be fought in the way that it did. And I couldn't, well, not fought, right? Stopped without
people to do nice things.
Help us.
Yeah, you can come be nice. You can be nice.
That's nice.
Which we're very grateful for. Just
no,
saying.
the chaos is all that I'm about.
Chaos is neutral. It could be good or bad.
I mean,
I
I'm
made
down
a
with
microsun.
both. I'm down with both, sure. But thank you again, everybody, for watching. We very much appreciate you. We will see you if you are out there, online, in our chats, and keep an eye on our Twitter, and our Twitch, and our Instagram, and our YouTube. So, good night, everyone.